Hello, my biddies. How are you? Hope you're good. I'm good. Oh, everybody have a good weekend? Had a very busy weekend. We had the boys every day this weekend. Sunday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. They spent the night Saturday night. Always fun. Oh, they're so funny though. They don't want to do this. They don't want to do that. They built a train, like an actual train, one that exists in real life. Out of Lego, of course, 'cause, Lego family. Um, they're very proud of their train. My husband said there's a couple of minor, very common parts that are missing, but he had to go find all the parts between Sunday and Monday. He's also trying to build a Halo burger out of Lego. He's like, they're opening in 2 weeks. I gotta get this done. I'm like, it's not that big a deal, but whatever you want to do, honey. Whatever you want to do, sweetheart. I will fully support you. Oh, what else? Oh, the little one is potty training, and I just don't think he's getting it. Which I had talked to his mom. She kind of agrees. He knows, he knows he needs to go on the potty. He knows to sit on the potty. He knows that he's supposed to pee in the potty. It's just not happening. I think it might be more of a physical thing because mentally he's got it. Mentally, he's super smart kid. He's got it mentally, but he's like sitting on the potty going, "Help me, please help me go potty." And it's like, honey, I can't help you go potty. You have to do that on your own. That's something that your body has to do. I can't help you with that. I'm sorry. Grandpa had him outside for a while on Monday. Monday? Yeah, yesterday. We did go outside on Monday. It was nice. It was nice out finally. And now more rain's coming, I'm told. Another flood watch. Another flood watch. It's rained like 6, 7 inches in some places around us. It's a ridiculous amount of rain, especially since, like, so the ground here freezes. So when the ground's frozen, it doesn't absorb the water. So the water has to go somewhere. It goes in the lakes and the rivers, and then they flood because they're too full. Because normally later in the season, when it's not, the ground isn't frozen, and there's the absorbing layer, um, it gets absorbed. Except in my yard. My yard's clay, but so yeah, that's fun. So anyway, yeah, potty training, Joy. She has him in cloth diaper because she doesn't want to spend another $70 on diapers, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate that. I have him in some pull-ups because um, I just think that it's better for them to train if they can do it themselves because they're going to have to do it themselves. You can't be at their beck and call. Nobody can be at their beck and call 24/7 when they need to go potty. People are busy, even parents. You might not get there in time because you're a parent. You could be doing the dishes or whatever, and then they need to go potty like right now. But he'll be fine. He'll get it because he's super smart. So I know he'll get it. And the other one, the older one comes up to me and he's trying to tell me something and I'm like just waiting. And he finally just goes, "I love you." And I know that's not what he was gonna say. It was so funny. They are funny. They always, when they're here, they do not want to go to sleep, probably because Bubba's too much fun. But Bubba had a headache and wasn't feeling well, so he finally, actually, he's been having a lot of headaches. I think it's allergies. I think he's allergic to the same thing I am, but he won't admit it. Because with all this wet, my allergies are bothering me, and I can't sleep at night. Do I look tired? Because I've been up since 4. I've been up since 4 and won't go to bed early because that'll just mess me up for, the next day. Um, but yeah, I've been up since 4 because I couldn't sleep. Um, because once I'm up for a few minutes, if I'm up for a minute longer than I should be, then I'm just up. There's no getting back. And that's okay. It's better than getting up every 2 hours and not being able to sleep for 2 hours. Yeah. That used to be my life. It's gotten better. Since menopause, actually. My sleep has gotten better since menopause. Explain that one to me. That's not supposed to happen. Oh, yeah. Did you hear the big news on campus about Swalwell? All these people are trying to defend him, and it's like, dude, he admitted to it. He admitted to having sex with these girls, claims it's consensual. You cannot have consensual sex with a person that's drunk, much less blackout drunk. And if you ask me, there may be another component to that because that is not what those girls described is not just having it's not just overindulging in alcohol. That's all I'll say about that. That's my own speculation. But good for Rachel as Miss Frazzled. She worked on this and got this out, and I commend her. Um, I am so glad that she put 2 and 2 together and got 4 because she got 4 of them. I think there's more. I think she's talked to more people, but those are the 4 that would come out. Um, Incredible. Incredible the things that some men can get away with. Not all men. Not all men would even try. But some men, oh my goodness, what is wrong with you people? That is, people are like, oh, he's innocent until proven guilty. No, he's not. That's only in court. That is only in court. This court of public opinion is completely different. You cannot wait until court, which will take months, if not years, to like adjudicate part of this. If the evidence is overwhelming, which it seems to be, like it's not just an accusation. It's an accusation from 4 people that don't know each other with the same or similar stories. Um the work sexual harassment alone is enough to get him out of office. It's not illegal to send a dick pic, but it is immoral to send a dick pic to your employees, especially unsolicited. Why do people not get that? I don't understand. Plus, they have things that will hold up in court, like uh, now the word escapes me all the time. Um, Medical records, concurrent uh, reporting to other people, um, concurrent medical records, yada yada yada, blah blah blah. So we have to take it seriously. And that person should not be governor of California if they're under this severe of accusations from numerous people. And the thing is that Rachel from Miss Frazzled, she did an interview with him. She was going to work on his campaign, and these girls just contacted her and says all they were doing was trying to warn her off. Say, don't give him your email, don't give him your phone number, and don't give him your Snapchat because he will misuse it. That's all they did. It was not something that was coordinated. It was not something that anybody did on their own. It was her getting all of these messages at once, and she was going to work on his campaign against Katie Porter and the other Democrats in this race. How is that a coordinated attack? It's stupid. People are dumb. It drives me insane. All right. I don't have any reality TV because I did not have time or the energy. When I had the time, I didn't have the energy. All my energy was spent with kids. That's okay. You'll live. You'll live. I'm way behind. I know. I know. I gotta get my act together. Also gotta clean my house because I haven't been doing that either. All right, I guess we'll start with murder by words. And it is entitled Technically Not Wrong. Somebody asked why Charlie Kirk was left out of the Oscar memorial reel because he's not an actor. Scott Touchdown here, his wife also lost Best Actress too. Why would he be in the memorial reel for the Oscars? That's ridiculous. People are so dumb. I can't stand it anymore. Like, what is wrong with you? Murder Beans is a top-rated comment, and they say, "Are fat-headed podcasters normally part of the Oscar experience?" No, they're not. Even the skinny-headed ones aren't. Uh, Caldara answers they were going to attend the alternate Kid Rock Oscars, but he tried calling himself Adult Rock, and every single conservative stopped being interested. Real Parking Breaks quotes he tried calling him Adult Rock, and, and they answer Midwife Crisis Rock would probably work. Il Kaleidoscope says yes, he was a bad faith actor. Yes. Oh, all right, we'll go to Arches National Park's uh, worst reviews and see. This is from Orion Wolf, and it's entitled "Utah Outdoors: Crowds, Crowds, Crowds." That's all that exists in Utah. Yeah, I'm sure that exists everywhere in Utah. Whether you go north whether you go to the north or the south, long lines, people driving way too fast. I guarantee you they aren't driving as fast as I've seen people drive. Want to relax in Mother Nature? Think again. People are more focused on taking photos of themselves or tagging themselves a certain location than they are actually enjoying Mother Nature. Well, that's on them. If they're not enjoying Mother Nature and just want a picture, that's on them. Why are you worried about what other people are doing? The crowds, the drivers, the trash left on the trails, it's all too much. This was in September of 22. Oh no. Date of experience was September of 22. He waited until April of 23 to make a to review it. Oh, geez. Out of over 11,000 reviews, there's only 424. Oh, there's 424 5-star. How many 1-star are there? I don't know. I should do that. But yeah, I mean, in April through September, you're going to have crowds. It's just the nature of things. That's when people are available to go see a national park. It's probably on a weekend. Let's find out. Hmm. That one there, I can read that one. April. Yeah, it was on a Saturday in April. What do you expect on a Saturday in April? Go during the week. Jeez. I mean, you live there. This guy lives there. Like, you can go on a weekend, on a weekday, a Sunday. Can go on a Sunday when it's probably a little less crowded because people leave. You know, you're there on Saturday, leave on Sunday. A lot of people are going to leave by noon on Sunday. Next is What Should I Do? And it is entitled My Girlfriend's Butt Crack Shows Constantly. I genuinely don't know if I should say something. Okay, that's kind of funny. This is awkward, but I'm genuinely not sure when the right move is here. My girlfriend, 23, and I, 21, have been together about a year and live together. Overall, things are good between us, and I care about her a lot. She works as a barista at a coffee shop nearby, and she's pretty active during the day. Around the house, she's always moving around, bending down, sitting on the couch, playing with our cat, etc. Okay. Here's the awkward thing: her butt crack shows all the time, and honestly, I don't know if I should say something or just leave it alone. For context, she's about 5'7" and 150 pounds, definitely not overweight at all. Thank goodness he said that. She just has a bigger butt, and I can only describe it as a really high butt crack. Because of that, whenever she bent over or leans forward even a little bit, her pants shift and it shows. I'm not exaggerating when I say it happens constantly. She squats down to pet our cat, crack. She leans forward on the couch. Sometimes there's like 2 or 3 inches showing. If she bends slightly in the kitchen or go to grab something the same time, same thing. So start taking pictures. Like Sarah's like just start taking pictures. Like, oh, it's taking a picture of the cat. Here, look, it's a picture of the cat. Look at the hint. Sometimes it's just a little bit, but other times it's pretty noticeable. There have been definitely been moments where it's basically a full moon situation when she bends over. One thing I've noticed is that she tends to wear her underwear only about halfway up the back. Like the waistband sits pretty low instead of being pulled up all the way. Well, that some underwear just does that. Are you unfamiliar with women's underwear, sir? Because of that, when she bends forward, both the underwear and the pants slide down together a bit. The weird part is she never seems to notice it happening. She doesn't pull her pants up or adjust anything after it happens, like she has genuinely no idea. At home, obviously, it's not a big deal. It's just the two of us, but it happens so much I started wondering if this happens when we're out in public or even when she's at work at the coffee shop. If this is happening at work at the coffee shop and anyone is bothered by it, her boss will tell her. So don't worry about it. Since she's a barista, she's bending down and reaching for things behind the counter all day. Part of me feels like if I were in that situation, I'd want someone to tell me. Like if my pants were constantly sliding down or my fly was open all the time, I definitely want to know so I could fix it. But the other part of me feels like this is up or could embarrass her and make it sound like I'm criticizing her body or the way she dresses. That's definitely not my intention at all. So I'm kind of stuck. Would you want your partner to tell you something like this? And if I should say something, what's the least embarrassing way to bring it up? I still think the pictures. They've been together for a year, dude. You should have mentioned that way long time ago. Oodles of Canoodles says she might not care at home. Bra off, butt crack out. Exactly. Masterpiece Empty says, Opie, your concern is lots of men's dream scenes. uh, I'll pass answers. Is there really a market for everything these days? And Masterpiece Empty answers, markets open and close. The phenomenon OP is presenting above. The people subscribing to this market would prefer it stays open. Kosher Nostra is the second top rated comment, and they say, really high butt crack slayed me. Tell her, what, is she gonna flip out and break up with you or something? I doubt it. Hell, maybe she already knows and just likes it that way. Serena says, just don't call her a crack whore. Key Target says, just want you to know that every single time you bend over or squat or reach, I get a full glimpse of your sexy butt. You know that. Honestly, very honest, says, and I'm officially raising this as a compliment. Throwaway order says, oh, my lobster is too buttery. Somebody says, my steak is too juicy and my bank account is too fat. The last two. Oh, that was funny. Yeah, I think you should just like pretend to take pictures of the cat and happen to catch her butt crack in it, and she will get it. If she doesn't do anything about it, then she's fine. Otherwise, she'll change her mode of dress, I guess, or whatever she needs to do to feel better. Maybe she just needs longer shirts. I have that issue. I need longer shirts because shirts right up, and the way my pants, I only really have one pair of pants. The way my pants sit, it's really low. Even it bothers even me, so I have to wear longer shirts. Because a normal size, a more normal length shirt, I'll start showing body parts that I don't want to show personally. It's fine on other people, I don't care, but I don't want to show them. My body parts are not all that. I'm not a svelte person. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled, "My line manager told me to tell her when the workload assigned to me by her was too much, so I complied in front of everyone." It says in front or everyone. I think they meant up. Apologies for long post. No, we like long posts. It's fine. Long-term lurker, first time posting here. Disclaimer, given that seems many of you know what a virtuous mechanism is, this is the AI explanation. Don't know. A virtuous mechanism is called a virtuous cycle or circle or cycle. It is a self-reinforcing positive feedback loop where each action leads to better income, strengthening the next step in the cycle. These mechanisms create sustainable growth by transforming positive outputs into compounding advantages commonly used in business strategy. This mechanism produces advantageous results where success feeds further success. To create a virtuous mechanism, this is necessary to identify negative patterns, develop positive alternatives, and reinforce them until they become the default behavior. Malicious compliance from here. The story starts 3 years ago when a new line manager arrived at our office. I work in a big institution and I knew this person from before. I was very happy when she arrived, as she is a pragmatic person that triggers virtuous mechanisms to improve our work environment. After the first 6 months, she started demanding more, imposing more work. Sometimes the activities to show we are good were prioritized compared to the technical ones. I started working under constant pressure without seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. The more I was doing, the more I was required to do. Yeah, that's what happens when you are competent. I was kind of complaining about it, and she told me it's your responsibility to tell me when it is too much to handle. I ask you because you deliver high quality outputs, but if you want, I can ask someone else. But I know you and you need a little push to work. Whoa. Whoa. For me, that I am a hard worker with a good career and the respect from all in the institution, I saw this as putting the blame on me, gaslighting at its best. Here's the malicious compliance started. She gave me a unreasonable deadline to write a manual to use a fully functioning automatic updated dashboard produced by me from scratch, by the way, prepared in 2 weeks, when the colleagues didn't do any progress in months. The deadline was given the morning for the evening in a day in which she organized an aperitivo? I don't know what that means. Aperitivo party. What's that mean? I mean, I know words, but I don't know that word. Even I don't know all the words. Oops. Even I don't know all the words. It's okay not to word. The traditional Italian pre-dinner ritual, similar to a happy hour, designed to stimulate the appetite and socialize. So it's an appetizer party, derived from Latin apere, to open, literally means opens the stomach before dinner. It's an appetizer party. Why didn't you just say that? I told her it was not possible, but no reasons. You have to do it. I decided to work on the manual to go to the party when it was over. Instead of going home like everybody, I sat at my desk and started finalizing the document, making sure she knew I was there until 8:30 p.m. She saw me and told me that I have a family and that I should go home and that the manual could have been finalized the day after. I replied that I already told her she was unreasonable, but she didn't listen to me, so now she would have had the manual before midnight. And I did it. The day after, she called me to her office saying it was unnecessary to work till late and that I need to take care of myself and my family more. Dude, you just told him that he didn't work enough. I replied that I told her no, but she wasn't accepting, and this is the result, thanks to her. She sent me to a mental coach to learn how to have proper work-life balance. Oh my gosh. The coach analyzed my situation. She immediately understood I was fine. She also asked for a meeting with me and my line manager, and here is the surprise. My line manager told the coach that pushing people to do better is the only way to improve as a person. And the coach asked, "So you are not satisfied with his work?" The line manager started saying that I was the best of the whole office. The following meeting with the coach was her saying what a piece of crap your line manager is. You don't need work-life balance sessions. You need how to put in boundary sessions. 8 sessions to work on real and hypothetical work situations to literally learn how to repeat what she is saying to me in a way that looked wrong. Then the opportunity came on a silver platter. She asked me in a unit meeting with all the colleagues present in a period of high workload routine activities to proceed with 2 projects. I replied, "If I understand you correctly, you want me to do this and that when when we have to carry out mandatory task A, B, C, D, E, F, and G? Okay, no worries. I can do your new task with a deadline of 6 months. Forget that I forget forget I'm going to do it before, as I have to maintain a high quality of standards and a work-life balance. Take it or leave it." Once in the corner, she had to accept my calendar. She tried to push her agenda a couple of times, but I always reminded her that the agreement we had in the past. From that moment, she started not assigning me extra work, or at least not without asking me what I was doing and how was my workload, how much time would the new activity take, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, Good on this coach. They did a great job. Green flags for coach. Green flags for this coach. This mental coach. They did a great job. Good job. Don't know who you are, but kudos are going out to you through the atmosphere. After 1 year right now, I'm working on a project she doesn't even know I'm doing. I am doing what is really needed at when my times and not all the crap she wanted me to do. She cannot complain as my optimizations and efficiency gains projects are real and I gain my life back. Thanks, uh, line manager for the mental coach you asked the institution to pay for me. You wanted her to make me work at your pace and she taught you how to stop. Kiss kiss. Line Explorer says, "My old boss was kind of like this. She excelled at her job, but partially because she was doing 70-hour work weeks. It's ridiculous. Even a 60-hour work week is ridiculous. And I know places that require their managers to work at least 60 hours a week, which is insane." At the end of the year, that became her baseline, and she was now expected to do better. She burned out and left after 2 months. Dangerous Abalone answers, "I was brought on to replace someone like this. People thought I was slacking at first. I was the one person managing 3 accounts, and every account thought they had me full time. I was traveling full time to one client site and sneaking outside to support the other 2 clients and working all night in my hotel room. When I pushed for guidance, I was given non answers and a fat per diem to butter up the on site customer. Eventually got laid off with half my team because their completely unsustainable management style collapsed. I skipped home with my fat severance package and slept for 3 days straight." Oh, I'm glad you got to do that, Abalone. That sounds terrible. 999 business card quote, "She is a pragmatic person that triggers virtuous mechanisms to improve our work environment. I can't tell if this was the result of translation difficulties or it is a perfectly cromulent uh, corporate jargon." Somebody quotes her and says, "It doesn't begin my understanding of the post." Stawyer says, "Loving the comments. When we finally get a good tale, which has clearly been written by someone, then people whine that it's not because it's not isn't written perfectly, like AI would try to do so. I enjoyed it, OP. Hope your work continues to benefit you." And then they're just complaining about AI versus human. Who cares? Who cares? It gives us a discussion. And it wasn't with outside of the realms of possibilities. There was nothing triggering in there that seemed unrealistic. If you've ever worked, ever. Next, we have evil buildings, and this is World War II era German Eierbunker, aka egg bunker. And of course, it's evil because it's World War II German. It does kind of look like an egg-ish. It's egg-ish. Are you egg-ish? Plasma Dan says Ramstein anyone, and Dark Horses. I don't have time. Deleted says I hate people making BS for upvotes. The original time is Trudel term, and that's weighing cool enough. I don't know. I think it looks kind of eggish. It's not that serious. It's Reddit. Next, we have AITAH, and it is entitled WBTAH. If I called out my allergic friend for eating her no-no foods. If she's eating her no-no foods, she needs to stop. I told my daughter-in-law yesterday she needs to stop eating peanut butter. Apparently, the peanuts are now like making her lips and tongue tingle when she eats peanuts, specifically peanut butter. As if she's making a peanut butter sandwich for the kids. She'll, use it on herself. She does not need to be eating peanut butter anymore. Just like my son does not use DEET and does not eat cashews and pistachios. Which one of my husband's favorite is dessert for like holidays and stuff when you get to overindulge is Watergate salad. And if you aren't familiar with that, you can look that up. It's easy. Watergate salad. It has a base of pistachio pudding, so he can't really have it. But I found something the other day that it's called glorified rice. It's extremely similar, but it's made with rice, and there's no pistachio pudding in it. So I think I'll make both of those next time because it has a lot of the same ingredients. So I think it'll be fine. And it uses whipped cream instead of pudding. So I think that's going to be the difference. And I mean, who doesn't like rice pudding? I'm sure somebody doesn't like rice pudding. My husband loves rice pudding, so I think it'll be fine. I'll make both of them just to make both of them happy. I, 32 female, have a friend, Dina, 38 female, who is constantly changing an ever growing list of things she won't eat: gluten, dairy, certain spices, nightshades, which means tomatoes, beans. Beans is a problem, man. If you won't eat beans, that's a problem. I have two of the kids that won't eat beans, but they'll eat hummus, and I'm like, that's beans. That's just beans. Certain protein isolates, several thickening agents, and nuts. Okay, that's hard. I think she should bring her own food at that point. When I host a party, if there's anything totally free of all the ingredients on her list of the week, she'll refuse to eat it at all, kind of pout alone. I gave you this is what I always do. When a lot of times I'll take mashed potatoes to like Christmas and stuff, but when we were just having Christmas with my sister-in-law and her husband, and I think maybe a couple other people, I made sure to make something that did not have dairy because if I'm making mashed potatoes, I'm putting the dairy in. Sorry, but he does not have he's not lactose intolerant. He's literally allergic to the protein in milk, so it bothers him when he gets even accidentally. So I made a different kind of potato so that he could eat the potatoes for once. I have family members that are vegetarian, so when we had the kid, I only had only one of my kids wanted a graduation party. So when I had her graduation party, we had vegetarian dishes for them. They're ovo-lacto vegetarian, so it was fine. Um, some of them are. It's a religious thing, but my one niece is vegetarian also. But her kid, I mean, she's not like she recognizes it as a personal thing. She doesn't even have her kids be vegetarian. They eat meat. The little girls eat meat, but she doesn't, which is fine. I mean, that's the way to do that. Okay, on to the story. Yes, if you have something that I made you that you can eat, you better dang well eat it because I went out of my way to provide that for you. I take pride in my cooking and I take pride in being a good host who takes care of her guests. It upset me when I read the labels on everything. Some soy sauces are not gluten free, some dairy substitutes have guar gum, etc. Only to have her announce a new forbidden food that wasn't on the list before. But what grinds my gears even more is when I do manage to make something she can eat, only for her to take a few small bites before sneaking into the kitchen to eat the regular food. Stop making food for her. Stop making food for her. Just tell her it's gluten, or make something you know she'll like and tell her it's tell her it's satisfactory that she can have it. For example, I completely sanitized my whole kitchen before making her a hypoallergenic pizza and then put in an airtight container before making it regular pizza for everyone else. She arrived, she says thanks. She took a slice of her special pizza. One other person asked her if they could try hers just to see how different it was. So they also took a slice. The other 6 slices remained untouched. When I got up to use the bathroom during the big game, I saw Dina eating a slice of regular pizza in the kitchen over the sink. Dina's an idiot. Dina is not your friend. Dina shouldn't be anybody's friend. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to make a fuss, and also I had to pee pretty bad. When I came out of the bathroom, she had rejoined the party. No ill effects were observed. So she's just lying. Later, another friend complained of the same thing, spending hours doing the research, making the special dish, and then catching Dina eating the Girl Scout cookie. I'm currently making a cake for Dina's birthday. I used to be a pastry chef, and this has taken a lot of skill and effort. If I see her eating regular food, would it be a dick move to ask her why she does this? Nope. Edited to add, wow, this blew up while I was baking. I don't think my friend of nearly a decade is a drama llama, but I also think it's time I had an open and honest conversation with her about the recent food weirdness. At least the goofy cake turned out well. Update, had the hard talk, found out there were some specific physical and mental things going on. Honestly, it seems like she's pretty embarrassed about it. We figured out some good strategies that will work better for my cultural need to feed people without making me want to pull my hair out when she stumbles on taking care of herself. For example, I will always have her favorite fancy mineral waters in my fridge as a way to show I'm thinking of her. For food centric occasions, she will bring along something she can eat and also text me a few days ahead of time her allergist's current working theory about what is making her sick. It's not the food, it's her brain. Bulbarzar Ranch answers. That's the first top rated comment. Sorry, I can't accommodate your restrictions anymore. I just can't keep up with the ever-changing list, and have you noticed that they don't always seem to apply as everyone sees you constantly eating food you say you can't? Stop inviting this loon over. It's not worth the stress, MTA. M. Concerto said, tell her to bring whatever foods meets her revolving door of allergies that week. Yeah, my brother-in-law is has celiacs, I think. One of those that you can't eat gluten for. And he won't even let us buy him a pizza at the pizzeria. He brings his own, and that's fine. um, I mean, whenever he eats in other restaurants though that has stuff, the same stuff flying around. I don't know. What does he think tortillas are made out of? Adventurous Ed said, quite, yeah, frankly, anyone who truly knows needs to avoid common allergens is used to doing this, even when it's like one unchanging allergy. I have a lot of friends who graciously make sure there's gluten-free food available for me, but I can't. But I frequently bring my own just to be safe. Siren Stitch Witch says, I eat pre-visits just in case so I can nibble and say I'm not hungry. Autistic with significant food issues and sick of people being mad at me because I somehow insulted them and not liking seafood. Narwhal Prestigious says, I don't have allergies, but I am really picky and dislike most standard foods, i.e., bacon. You don't like who doesn't like bacon? Mushroom and hot spices. I will often preheat so I'm not betrayed by a grumbling tummy, or time my visits out of meal times where possible. That way, no one has to worry about accommodating me when I'm in their home. Opie's friend is just out of order, putting everyone to all that work unnecessarily. There may be reasons, control issues over food, but that should be for her to manage, not for her hosts. Exactly. Also, when my niece who has peanut allergies is over, she has way more severe peanut allergies than my daughter-in-law. Um, the peanut butter goes away, and you do not see it until she is gone, which really put my husband out because he has peanut butter on the weekends for his lunch or for his breakfast. Oh, you can't have peanut butter right now. Sophie's here. Sorry. Delaney says, I feel like you have to know at some point someone has to say something. Uh, Entrepreneur passes. I'm high as crap right now, and I was so befuddled trying to read someone. I thought I was looting it because it's spelled wrong. Because it is spelled wrong. See how I just skipped over it? It's spelled wrong. They transposed the E and the O, the first E and the second O in someone. I can understand why somebody would trip over that. Only breadfruit is a third top rated comment, and they say, ask. There's nothing wrong with having a conversation with your friend. Somebody removed the moderators removed something. Molasses Inevitable said, did you switch accounts for your replies? And the mod team says this comment is fake. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled, My downstairs neighbor started introducing himself to people as my caretaker, and it got disturbing fast. Holy cow, I guess. I am 36, live alone, and have been in the same apartment for 4 years. It's one of those older places where people know each other just enough to say hi in the hallway, bring in a package, maybe chat in the laundry room, but not much beyond that. That's like everywhere nowadays. Last November, I slipped on wet stairs outside and tore ligaments in my ankle pretty bad. I was in a boot for weeks and then on crutches. Um, and for a while, even simple stuff like groceries or hauling laundry was genuinely hard. Around that time, the guy in the unit below me, maybe late 40s, started being unusually helpful. At first, it seemed harmless. He carried a bag upstairs once, held the front door, brought up two packages that had been left in the mailboxes. I thanked him, thought he was maybe a little overfamiliar, but I was exhausted and not in the mood to overthink kindness. Then he started knocking more, asking me if I needed anything from the store, telling me he noticed I was limping less, mentioning what time I usually got home. Okay, now you're way too much of my business. Asking if I needed it. I started keeping things short because it felt weird. In January, after I was mostly walking normally again, I ran into an older woman from the third floor who asked very kindly whether my helper was still checking on me every night. I had no idea what she meant. She said the man downstairs had told a few people in the building that I had some ongoing health episodes and that he was sort of informally looking out for me because I did not have family nearby. That would have been creepy enough on its own, but once I started paying attention, I realized he had built an entire version of me inside the building. The super mentioned that my neighbor had warned him I get confused under stress and might forget whether I had submitted maintenance requests. A delivery driver left a grocery order with him because he said he regularly brought things up for me. The woman across the hall stopped by to ask if I was okay after he told her he heard me crying and was worried about I was having a setback. None of that was true. The worst part is how calm he is when confronted. I told him last week to stop speaking for me and stop discussing my health with other people. He smiled and said I was being unfair because he had only been trying to create a supportive network around me, which is not something I ever asked for. Since then, I've been felt crazy in my own building. I find myself over explaining perfectly normal things because I do not know who has heard what. Yesterday, I learned that he had asked the mail carrier to let him know if I was out of town too long. No, absolutely not. I hope the mail carrier dismiss that altogether. My landlord says unless he directly threatens me, there's not much to do. But this feels way past simple neighbor awkwardness. AITJ for wanting to make a formal complaint and tell everyone in the building he's lying. No, you're not. That's just weird. He's just acting weird. Longwater Vegan says, just tell everybody who approaches you that it's not true and you're being creeped out by him. Tell the mail carrier not to discuss you with anyone. Tell the delivery driver only to leave orders with you. Tell the super you don't get confused and are creeped out by that guy. Ghibli answers, this is the kind of thing you shut down fast and very plainly. No, not rude, just direct. He is my neighbor, not my caretaker, and he has been spreading false stories about me. Say it to everyone. Creeps count on people being too polite to name what they're doing. That's a good point. People do count on other people not standing up for themselves. So stand up for yourself. If somebody's creeping you out, say so. Say so to them and everybody else. No need for norms says go beyond individually telling people you meet. Write out a letter of complaint, copy it several dozen, and leave one on everyone's door. That's a good idea too. Closer than before says he's not your caretaker. He's building a case. Document everything. Tell your landlord in writing and start a paper trail. This is how stalking starts before it's called stalking. Imagination answers, I could not agree with this more. He's been peppering information around to make her look mentally unstable so that no one will believe her when things take a more nefarious turn. OP, put every single thing in writing when you address management starting today. You can also send him a notarized letter in certified mail telling him to cease his actions as they are unwarranted. This will show that there is someone who has witnessed you writing said letter as well as a trail that he has received it, even if you can't get anything more sufficient yet. Echo Cindy says or maybe it's Echo Sind, I don't know. The part about, or Echo Signed? I don't know. ECHOCINDE, capital C. The part about him planting little bits of info everywhere is what makes this so nasty. He's not just being intrusive, he's shaping how other people see you before you can even know the conversation happened. Getting all this in writing now is smart. Plus, if you're the first person to say something, you're more likely to be believed, even when evidence to the contrary shows up. Interesting long is the third top rated comment, and they say, I find it very disturbing that he told management that you may forget maintenance slips you submit. That means he probably has told them you need maintenance and you designated him as the person to be present. You need to look for cameras and devices. You need to send a letter to management and tell them you do not want them to discuss anything about you with him. This guy's a wannabe stalker. You need to be careful around him. Chubb Bilber says, this freaks me out. I can totally see that happening. I'm scared for OP. OMG, can you imagine if he was granted access to OP's place? Gooning everywhere, seriously. Yeah, that's terrible. Terrifying. Oh, we got to read the fourth rated comment. It is from Druid Flowers, and they say, tell the mail carrier your neighbor's going through your mail and you're pissed that you gave your mail to a stranger, and you are pissed they gave your mail to a stranger. Messing with someone else's mail is a federal crime. That's a good point. Wonder if there are any updates. No update. It was 27 days ago and no update. Which is fine. They don't have to update us. It's fine. Still want to know what's going on. Next, we have Found Satan. It's Daniel Feldman. I heard of a guy who was fired from a company who had a grudge, so he wrote fake Glassdoor reviews that were unrealistically positive. Overly high salaries, absurd benefits, fancy perk. They had trouble hiring for years because candidates thought they were being lowballed. That's pretty funny, actually. Full Metal Scribe says, not Satan, more like justice served. Exactly. It says Satan is justice. No, Lucifer TV series. Black Absinthe says that's not Satan. He's doing the work of the gods. And this one guy keeps going around. You don't know that. You don't know why he was fired. Well, most companies fire you for bad reasons. Ace Loopy says she works with this guy. Next, we have Just No Mother-in-Law, entitled JNMIL Hates That I'm Breastfeeding. Mother-in-law has made very clear she hates breastfeeding. She didn't do it, so neither should I. Bad take. Bad, terrible take. Well, it was my goal to breastfeed as long as little one wants. Currently 13 months in. It hasn't always been easy. It takes a lot of your body, but I'm proud of us for making it this far. Good for you. Good for you. Child-led weaning is the best way to go. Not everybody can do it, and that's okay too. Saying something is the best way to go doesn't mean that there are not alternatives when needed. She has been everything but supportive. To sum up briefly, she has told me to stop breastfeeding 1.5 weeks after little one was born just because she feels like it's not necessary to breastfeed. Yeah, no, lots of things aren't necessary, but we do them anyway because we want to. Complain continuously that I didn't pump enough milk. How would you know? When summer arrived, her complaints changed to little one should be drinking water. No, absolutely not. Instead of milk, he's getting way too fat. It is well known that breastfed children are less fat than formula fed children. It's just a thing. This is literally based on nothing but her stupid opinion, and little one has always been far from too fat. That's what I suspected. For a while, she shut up, or maybe she didn't, but I avoid and ignore her most of the time. My partner stopped telling me about her complaints because she drives me crazy. But today decided to come at me again. My partner told her that the last couple of days, little one hasn't been interested in in his midday bottle. I'm going to stop pumping at work, so I told partner to ask his mom how little one responded to today's bottle. When I got home from work, she was ecstatic because little one refused his bottle. I've never seen her so happy. She even said little one is starting solids properly. Mind you, little one has been eating solids for months, while also drinking milk. Isn't that the way it's supposed to be for 13 months old? Yes. Yes, it certainly is. I guess she really hates giving the bottle with my pump milk. Maybe it's too confronting for her to be constantly reminded of how she didn't breastfeed. She told me multiple times she's chronic a repeater, yuck, that she did not want to, so it's not like she couldn't do it or anything. I don't know if that's true. This woman is watching your baby? Why? All I know is breastfeeding for 13 plus months has been the hardest yet most beautiful thing I've ever done, and I can't believe she's trying to take this away from us. They have a bunch of other posts. Fiona Nix says, "You want me to stop breastfeeding? Are you going to pay for formula? Because I can't." Using this line should still shut her up. It might not be right away, but when she starts shopping for it, she'll either shut up or complain about the prices. If she does the latter, look her in the face and say, "Now you know why I breastfeed." Either way, it should shut her up. If he's old enough for formula, try it anyway. If he's too old for formula, he's not. Try it anyway because it might still make her stop bringing it up. Second top rated comment is from Snoo Comics, and it says, "Been there. Apparently, breastfeeding is for peasants. Although now, in today's society, the people who breastfeed are not the pet are like the middle class, not the worker bees because they have more education on it. That's the only reason. Not that anybody can't, but that's usually why. But my husband put his mom into place and told her to stop. Yours should too. Team Tuna Fish has the best comment, and it says, Stop using her for childcare. Exactly. Why are these not in order? That's weird. 37 is above 42. I'll understand that. Next, we have petty revenge, and it is entitled My Ex Roommates Mocked Me for Wanting to Lock the Door. So I stole a potato peeler from their unlocked apartment. That's wild. In the summer of 2020, I, then 20 female, moved into an apartment with Joel, 24 male, and Sadie, 23 female, who were best friends with each other and acquaintances of mine from school. This was my first time living outside my parents' house. The apartment was in a really sketchy area of town. The cops were there multiple times a week, and we had items stolen from our vehicles. This was the best apartment we could afford since we all paid equal rent. Joel was a medical student from a wealthy family, but Sadie and I were both earning well below the poverty line. A constant fight between my roommates and I was over locking the door. How is this a fight? How is having a living in an area where your vehicles at least are constantly getting broken into a fight over a locked door? Yes, you should lock the dang door. When I lived in town, we locked the doors like all the time. Like right now, my doors aren't locked, but they will be later. They would leave the apartment completely unlocked whenever they left. I repeatedly asked them to please keep the door locked when nobody was home, since my laptop and other valuables were in the apartment. I needed my laptop for work, but could not afford to replace it if it was stolen. Every time I asked this, they totally brushed me off and implied that I was being stupid or overly anxious for wanting to lock the door. Okay, even when you're renting, you should have insurance on your stuff. You should have, there's rental insurance available. I was teased and ridiculed for this request on multiple occasions, and they never respected my wishes. I said that if anything got stolen, we could just replace it. I came home on many occasions to an empty apartment with the door unlocked. They were okay roommates other than that, but this was a recurring point of tension. After a few months of living with them, I moved to a different apartment with the same complex with my friend Maggie, 20 female. Maggie and I were very much on the same page about keeping the door locked. We remained relatively cordial with Joel and Sadie, occasionally said hi in the parking lot, but we didn't hang out with them since they weren't taking COVID seriously at all. One evening, I was cooking dinner alone in my apartment, and to my dismay, our potato peeler was nowhere to be found. I scoured the whole kitchen and couldn't find it, and unfortunately, the peeler was essential to the meal I was making. I decided to go and see if Joel and Sadie were home, willing to lend me their potato peeler. I walked over to their building. Our keys got us into any building in the complex. I went up to their apartment. I knocked on the door, no answer. Something snapped in me, even though I knew I shouldn't. I tried the door, and of course, it was unlocked. I went into their dark, empty apartment, grabbed their potato peeler out of their kitchen drawer, and took it back to my own apartment and never said anything to them. 6 years later, I still have the potato peeler. Small revenge, extremely satisfying. Yes, that's great. I'm sorry, but it's an innocuous deal. You couldn't even get in trouble for it because it's less than $5 to get a potato peeler. Just borrowing it, just forgot to return it. It's fine. Oh, that's great. I hope the statute of limitations is run out on that potato peeler. Shouldn't say 6 years later. Yeah, it was probably 5 years, so she's probably good. Potato Slim says, this is very satisfying. I would have taken the batteries out of as many electronics as possible. You should still go back and do that. Like, not now, but one-handed dictate director answered, I would have started moving things around and or leaving things in their apartment to freak them out. Although I would commend the potato peeler, I would avoid stealing things as that would worsen the potential charges if caught. Nobody's charging her for borrowing the potato peeler. She just borrowed it and didn't take it back. She forgot. It's okay. People forget things. We're human. From hell, he says, scoop a bowl of ice cream and leave it on the coffee table to melt. And somebody answers, just one bowl? I'd be setting out all the bowls everywhere. From hell, he says, yeah, but if it's just one bowl, they'll argue over who left it. I didn't do it. So, story time about giving the wrong people your keys. When I was in college, um, I was living with a woman my now husband set me up with for roommate. We called her the Grinch because she looked like the Grinch. And suddenly, when we were living there, these notes started going up everywhere. Don't eat my food. Don't eat my food. Like I was not eating her food. Like she was accusing me of eating things that I would not eat at that time. Like at that time, for some reason, I was very lactose intolerant. I got over it eventually, which is weird, I know. Um, but I would not drink milk. And she accused me of drinking her milk. I'm not drinking your milk. I'm not using your milk to cook. I barely cook in here. I'm not eating your food. She had some kind of treat from her that her mom brought her, had coconut in it. I don't eat coconut. I don't like coconut. You're not catching me eating coconut. Oh, I know what it was. It was a what's the cake? German chocolate cake with all the coconuts in it? Nuh-uh. Ma'am, if I was eating your cake, the frosting would be in the trash because I would not touch it. There's only one thing I eat coconut in, and that's a Hello Dolly. You can look that up if you want. Um, and I can make those without coconut just as easy as you can make them with. But I'm not eating a German chocolate cake. I don't like it. Ugh. Whoa. I suspect, and it didn't occur to me at the time, and it should have. So we had a third roommate at some point who had a key. Well, she didn't turn the key in when she left. She just gave it to my roommate. I suspect she gave her boyfriend the key, and he was coming in and eating her food, and I was getting blamed for it, and I do not appreciate it. And I hope they're divorced. I know they got married afterwards, but I hope they're divorced. She deserves it. He was a jerk anyway. Crazy Shade says, did they ever figure out that the potato peeler was stolen? No, they probably just thought they lost it. OP says, not that I know of. We kept in touch a little bit after I moved out, but certainly not to the extent where they would have told me something about a missing potato peeler. And the third top rated comment is from Salt Calligrapher. Says, so it was you, the thief, who you kept warning them about? OP says, you've become the thing you fear the most. Oh, that's great. I mean, why not? My husband says when he was in the army and something was left somewhere and it got stolen, the drill sergeants would say, "Why'd you give that away?" They gave away their potato peeler. Next is Am I the Jerk and is entitled AITJ for telling my manager I won't stay late to cover for a coworker who calls in sick on Fridays with suspicious regularity. Some context. I work a Monday through Friday schedule. I'm in a team of 6 and we have one colleague. I'll call him Dan. Oh my God, I think I know Dan. I know Dan, who has called in sick on Friday at least once a month for the past 8 months. I've kept a rough track of it because it became noticeable. I have no proof of anything. I want to be clear. I'm not making an accusation. I'm just noticed a pattern, and other people on the team have noticed too. So this is why you take contemporaneous notes. That's why when you start noticing a pattern, start taking notes. The issue is that is what happens when Dan is absent on a Friday. Because of how our workflows are structured, his tasks don't disappear, they get redistributed. And because Fridays are often when we close out the weekly reporting, the redistribution tends to land on whoever is willing to stay a bit later. For the first few months, I covered without complaint because I genuinely thought it was bad luck and I didn't want to be the person who makes a fuss when a colleague is unwell. Last Friday, my manager came over about 4:30 and said Dan had called in again and asked if I could stay an extra hour to cover the reporting. I said no. Not rudely, just clearly. I said I had plans and that I didn't think it was fair for the same people to keep absorbing the impact of recurring absences. My manager looked uncomfortable and said he understood, but that the work still needed doing. I said I was scheduling, it was a scheduling program and not my personal responsibility to fix on short notice every time. Yes, your lack of planning is not my emergency. He ended up asking someone else who's also said no. Then he did the reporting himself, as a manager should. He hasn't said anything directly, but since the atmosphere has been slightly cooler this week, a couple of teammates told me privately they were glad I said something. AITJ. No, you're not. Manager needs to step up. Beautiful Arm says sounds like the manager needs to learn to manage Dan and TJ. Jerry Feather says managers are paid to handle performance issues, not push that burden onto you. If Dan is a problem, that's on them to solve, not for you to subsidize with your own time and effort. Definitely not the jerk. Does the manager have a history of dumping their responsibilities on the rest of the team? Twaddlehan says answers. Also, I assume Dan called out in the morning. Waiting until 4:30 to ask somebody to stay late is a jerk move on the manager part. Yeah, exactly. And everybody's saying by 4:30 your brain's not even at work anymore, and that's true. You're leaving at 5, and then some jerk says it's too. You don't have enough karma. You haven't been here long enough. Sorry, I don't like people who like it's fake because they're new. Like new people show up, dude. They can show up, and as long as they're that's why some subreddits have a minimum karma and a minimum um amount of time you have to be on there. If they don't have that, then that's fine. They can post. Kitchen Biscotti is the second top rated comment. It says, NTJ, you said no politely, explained your reasoning clearly, and two teammates privately agreed with you. The manager being uncomfortable is a him problem. A pattern of Friday absences for 8 months is a scheduling issue should have addressed long ago, not outsourced to whoever is willing to stay late. Exactly. Soul Daddy says manager not having to do the work might change his attitude toward Dan. Good for you for saying no, NTJ. Next we have entitled people entitled That's My Parking Spot moved to another spot. Are you Sheldon? Might you be Sheldon? Or me. Used to drive me nuts when people was parking my spot. It was not assigned, but it was a spot right next to my boss because she always had leased cars, so she couldn't afford to get dings and stuff, and I was always very careful. So she didn't get dinged and stuff. So she liked me parking next to her. She did have a assigned spot, and she liked me parking next to her. Because unlike the coworkers, I wouldn't ding her car up. A while ago, my boss hired 3 new managers, and it all started out very good until last Monday when one of the new managers arrived and asked me whose car was insert license plate. When my coworker spoke up and said it was theirs, the manager said, "You're in my spot. Don't park there again, please." Apparently, the new manager has been taking claim to that spot ever since they began working at the company. For the remainder of last week, whenever that spot was anyone would take it, and manager would still ask again who is in their spot. Yesterday, in a group email, manager sent a warning not to take that spot or risk having the car be towed. Luckily, my boss doesn't like people claiming spots, so she responded, first come, first serve for all spots in the employee parking lot. There is no claiming a spot. So far this morning, no replies from the manager, so I'm hoping that they were given a one-on-one talk. Excuse me. By the boss and entitled that their entitled behavior, thinking they had a show, they're like Sheldon Cooper over a parking spot would not be tolerated. Last manager who acted this way was out of a job after they had to pay to get the coworker's car out of the impound lot for calling a tow truck on said coworker for taking a spot the manager became entitled to call their spot. I love that. Tourist Tricky said, upon taking a new CEO position, my predecessor didn't leave long story. but stepped down to a lower position instead. On the first day, he asked me, "So I guess you'll want my parking spot." I looked at him like he was nuts and then said, "No, there won't be any designated parking spots going forward. If you want that spot, get here earlier." It was it was the first, maybe smallest of unwinding inappropriate policies I had to do. For some reason, the parking spots take on more meaning than they warrant, and people act crazy over them because people like their spots. We're all a little bit autistic, aren't we? Svet said, "This is the way to handle that policy. Well done." And Tourist Tricky answers, "Thanks. In an unequal, often unjust world, small things matter. As CEO, I made more money than the other employees. I earned every penny, was paid market value, raised everyone's compensation very quickly and significantly. But I also did everything I could to become as egalitarian of a workplace as possible, where everyone was treated with dignity. It's important to note that my career is spent running medium large nonprofit human services organizations where by persuading boards of directors and funders, I gained credibility slash license to execute my vision of how they could be managed to everyone's benefit. As a result, every place I worked ended up significantly more people with significantly better outcomes. Not coincidentally, the endemic staff turnover slash churn in nonprofits is nearly non-existent by the time I left. I retired nearly 35 years and I look back on my career with a great deal of satisfaction. There were a lot of headaches and heartaches along the way, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. Thank you for your service, sir. Appreciate it. It's not just the military that serves the public. End of the world is too far, says second rate, top rated comment. So they hired two managers recently that have tried this. Sounds like they need a different person doing the hiring process. um, Third top rated comment is from Island Cat. They say, "I work in a grocery store, but my start time is 2 hours before the store opens. I've taken to parking in a certain spot because it's not near the front where it would take up customer spaces and is under a tree, so it's shady on hot days. One morning, I pulled into the lot and there was a car in my spot. I actually felt a little wave of rage come over me as I recovered my senses, made for a funny story in the break room." Acquainted says it's the same with gym parking, especially inside the gym on the group exercise floor. People have their spot, and if a newbie comes in and gets their spot, words will be said, and the two members will look like hens puffing, flapping wings, making loud clucking noises, and pecking at each other. It's a hen party. Expectation versus reality. What I wanted versus what I got. The haircut. That is a very cute haircut. It's absolutely adorable. I wonder if this is things my daughter-in-law looks at to cut hair. Yeah, that's not good. That is not what that picture was at all. At all. I mean, I wouldn't want that haircut. It's kind of cute. It's still kind of cute, but it's not what she asked for. They winged the absolute crap out of my hair, man. I showed the hairstylist this and they said, "Don't you think this is way too feminine?" I said that I like having long hair and whatever. And they said, um, "Okay, they'll make the back a bit shorter." But I didn't expect this. It isn't even the same thing, man. It's not that bad, but I know, but I'm a feminine man. I have long hair. Honestly, I deserve it for cheating on my barber. The mentor says, "You wanted the wolf cut and they gave you the oof cut." Uh, Own firefighter answers, "They wanted the Timothy Chalamet, but they got the Tom Holland." Needleberry says she got the Toyota Chevrolet. Uh, misgendered. Sorry. She got the Toyota Chevrolet, and Leah No Name says he literally said he's a man. He hope he's BIOS neutral program. Yeah, but They self-identified on this as a man, so they or he would have worked. I had to. In the spot where he blurred his face out, um, they put on a smiley face. Oh, he says it looks exactly like me. Oh, it gets its humor. I like OP. They're nice. Uncle Piccolo said they cut your face off. OP answers they ate it. You know, Babu says in front of you, and OP says, I mean, yes. If it was from the back, they would have been eating my butt, which I can't complain. New function says if they are questioning how feminine the cut is for you, that's a red flag. Find a new stylist. Completely agree with that. That belongs to be higher. That belongs higher up this. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Please tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies, tell your hairstylist. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com, and the email address is also in the description. Next, we have our real estate, and this is in Morrison, Illinois, and I am not even telling you the title because it's inaccurate for one thing. That is a Pepto-Bismol house. They called it a pink gingerbread theme. There's not really any gingerbread on this house. So I'm not sure why they're calling it that. Um, but I gotta go to the actual listing here. Hold on, sorry. Like there's literally one piece of gingerbread on this house. This piece right here could be called gingerbread. Otherwise, that is not gingerbread. Gingerbreads are way fancier than that. Oh, it's contingent. So somebody bought Pepto Bismol house. It's $275,000, 5 bedrooms, 3 baths, and 37, almost 3,800 square feet. That's a big house. It don't look that big, but that's a big house. I like the porch, the wraparound porch. So far, my favorite part. Not the color. I mean, I think they thought they were being a painted lady, but that's not the right type of house for a painted lady. It is very pink. Who lives in Pepto Bismol? Like living in a Pepto Bismol bottle. Good grief. Now that's nice. Much better on the inside. I guess you can paint the outside. It's going to cost you some bucks, but it's nice. That's beautiful. Now that's gingerbread, but that doesn't. Gingerbread has to be on the outside of the house for it to be gingerbread. Wow. Date appropriate furniture. That's what I was looking for to say. Oh, it's not date appropriate furniture. They put the furniture in that was fake furniture. Yeah, they did not do a good job. Yeah, now I see it. Now I see it. They did that to my I don't know why. We can see that if you take an appropriate picture of the whole room. Nice bookcase. We could do without that wallpaper. I'm not a wallpaper fan though, so too busy. No, it must not have central air because that's an air conditioner in the wall. It's not even a window, like properly. Interesting fireplace. I don't know what was on those tiles, but my non-glass my non-glass is wearing Far Vision says it's a dinosaur or a lizard. It's not, I'm sure it's some kind of fruit or something, but another built-in bookshelf with drawers at the bottom. That's kind of nice. Is it? Oh, it's a leaf. Or looks like a lotus leaf. Why would you have a water motif around your fireplace? The fireplace isn't going to like that. Water and fire don't mix. I'm not blaming the owners, the current owners, for that. That was probably there when they bought it. I do like this. This is cool. This little twisted decoration on either side of the fireplace. I kind of like that. That's nice. These, I don't even know what they're called. It's not coming to me if I knew what they were called. Little details on top of the windows are so ubiquitous in these old houses. Ooh, I like that. That's nice. I wonder if that's new or if that was original. Interesting. That floor is a choice. I have never seen a circus floor in a house before. And they have some kind of engraving in that going on in the wainscoting. We have 83 pictures, guys. Laundry room is very small, but they have shelving and stuff. Don't know how you would get to it. Why would you do that? I'm confused, so confused. I'm confuzzled. How many dents does the refrigerator have, do you think? I can't tell if that's a dent or that's just an artifact. Nice island. Pretty normal for stuff. Well, I guess they have this middle thing. Middle grill is nice. Gas stove. The island is nice. I do like the island. It's multi-tiered like mine is. Don't like wood in the bathroom. Any bathroom. No, thank you. Whoa, look at those narrow stairs. Holy cow. Wonder if they're as steep as my sister-in-law's. See, you can see the stuff up there. It's nice. There's not, you don't have to boldly put just a picture of that. The railing on the stairs is really cool. Interesting. And this is really neat, except I hope somebody pokes their head. You put an eye out if you're tall enough. Yes, we saw it in the other picture. Thank you. I take that back. The stair railing is almost too busy. I need some painting. Why did the walls look like that? Why would you leave the walls to look like that? Unless you're leaving all the walls. There's a bathroom with a lot of wood in it. I kind of like the doors to the shower. Those are interesting. Oh, that's a cool bed. Is it on? Is it on washcloths? You know they make things for this, right? Rugs are very interesting, but more rugs than there are room. Ooh, nice built-in dresser. That's cool. Of course, I would never be able to reach into the top thing, so that would become junk drawers or something. Because I am not that tall. Nice fireplace. That's beautiful. Oh, interesting. They have oh shoot, there's a word for that too, and I can't think. Starts with a T. Trans trans something. Transom. They have an interesting transom window between the hallway and the bedroom. I guess that could be good for airflow if you don't have air conditioning. Probably keep me awake all night. Another bedroom. Oh, now we have the ship room and the old toys. Ships and old airplanes and old toys. There's no door to this closet. There's only a curtain I do not like. Put a door on it. I say that as we're putting a curtain in my bathroom door, but that's because we never use the door, and we'll put the door back on when we move, if and when. A tub and a old fashioned bathroom. It's not even that bad. I kind of like it. The color's modernish. I don't like the dark blue around the. I don't like that they painted actually the window frame at all, because that should not be painted. It was probably um not in good condition after wetness of the bathroom. I don't see that they've done that. I haven't noticed that anywhere else in the house. That closet has a door. Very narrow stairs. They look almost deep too. Okay, that's interesting, but where is it? I really don't need pictures of light fixtures. Those are going to change. Those are going to change. Back porch is at least screened in, if not glassed in. That's weird. I don't know what that is. Any ideas? Let me know in the comments. Y'all should be commenting, by the way. Okay, the purple does not go with that Pepto-Bismol pink. Sorry. No, absolutely not. Do not do that. Now you have too many colors. Where are we at? Loving to see in town. This is St. Maurice in Illinois, by the way. Looks like a decent neighborhood, but not right in town. Well, maybe on a main drag, possibly. Why are we taking pictures of the neighbors? There's a big garage that has a weird door. It's not your normal garage. And there are windows out of it. Oh, come on. Really? Oh, that's what it used to look like. That's better than that Pepto-Bismol pink. Oh, they're telling you how you can do it. Oh, sorry. I could tell that the Pepto-Bismol pink was not working. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. They're almost 3,800 square feet in St. Morrison, Illinois. Or no, Morrison, Illinois. Sorry. 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. All the bathrooms are full baths. Um, kitchen has an eat-in breakfast area. Ceramic flooring. Laundry, ceramic tile. Most of it seems to be hardwood flooring, which is nice. Natural gas steam radiator heat. Only wall units, so they have not put central air in here. And it's where? This is how long my brain works. Illinois. I'm sorry, I'm gonna want some central air in Illinois. I mean, I live in Michigan. I need central air. 2 fireplaces. We saw those. One in the master and one downstairs. 10 total parking spaces. That seems a bit excessive. Does it not? This has a garage door opener where their garage door opens out, clearly opened out. So I don't know how garage door opener works with that way. Never seen that before. Lot size is 0.37 acres. It's a corner lot though. Electric circuit breakers, because that's unusual. Public sewer and public water, of course. No HOA. Woohoo. What are they? Taxes are less than like 40, a little over, well, less than 4,200 a year, which is not bad. That's not the main road, so that's good. It's close to a main road. Maybe that's why it looks like that. Looks like a bigger road. Let's see what people got to say. uh, Rachel with an A says, "Okay, once again, with feeling. What's wrong with it? It's so cheap for a house that looks like it's in great shape, and I dig the pink. So it's in a place where houses aren't as expensive. That's all. That's all that's wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it." Malta says, "I have never enjoyed a single second of being in rural Illinois. Highly concur. And I have driven through Illinois a lot in my life. A lot. Like a lot. Like we used to live in Arkansas and the grandparents were still in Michigan. All of them. A lot. At least 2 times a year, summer and winter. And apparently my dad, when he was little, his parents went to Arkansas every weekend. Rain, snow, sunshine, didn't matter. Every weekend, they loaded the 2 boys in the car and went to Illinois or went to Michigan. Went to from Michigan to Arkansas every weekend. I cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine. That stopped by the time I came along. Fossil Hund answers, "Years ago, I drove through Illinois from south to north. I did not expect Pancake Land." But the Pancake Land has a nice shoal on cornfield. It's all cornfields. It's just corn. Illinois is just corn. So is Ohio for that matter. Soft boiled egg says, "Not gonna lie, kind of dig it." Somebody like the bathroom. Okay Condition says, "The interior is surprisingly nice and inviting, especially for the price. Expected something quite different from the Pepto Bismol exterior." Yeah, I mean, this would be a nice house if you were working from home. If you could work from home permanently, you buy that house, especially if you didn't have kids. I don't know how good the schools are. They might be perfectly fine. If they're perfectly fine, then you can raise your kids in rural Illinois in a nice house, hopefully in a nice neighborhood. Charlie Kelly says, "It kills me that all these beautiful houses are in bumfuck out of nowhere." That's where they are. Always happen. Next, we have Signs of the Story, and it is entitled First Blood. First Blood. I like old tools and found the plaque on this 40-year-old 8-foot tall bandsaw rather humorous. It says, "Think carelessness is dangerous. Received 9 a.m. 8/25/77. First blood from Dave's Mastic. 10:45 a.m. 8/25/77. It took him an hour and 45 minutes." That's funny. That's hysterical, I love it. Dave. Poor Dave. Somebody somebody's somebody that Dave knows had a really good sense of humor. Or Dave might have had a really good sense of humor himself. Sometimes that happens. 18 minus says this was a workshop in the 70s. It wasn't uncommon for commemorative plaques to be made for 100 plus consecutive accident free minutes. He says, I too have a workshop from the 70s. I love these little plaques. Dave made it through 10:05, 10, 105. What a legend. Oh, that's funny. Deleted says, what shop foreman? How are you guys liking that new saw? Is it working out pretty well, worker? Oh, yeah, it's real good. Dave already got his finger off. Shop foreman. God damn, you guys. We haven't even had half a day. That dumb shit, Dave, in my office now. It's so funny. I love it. Confession. This is from Mark/confession, and it's entitled, I've been sleeping on a cardboard fortress for hours while at work. Well, that's not good. Do not do not approve. I'll try to keep the details short so I don't dox my job. I've been working as a maintenance technician with my company for years. However, the last few months I've been sleeping up to 3 to 4 hours on my Sunday shifts. Sunday is our least busiest day of production, with the morning block having the system shut down for about 5 hours. Usually I'm staffed with two others throughout the week, but Sunday I'm alone for half my shift. The fortress I made is entirely out of cardboard boxes, some cut open. It's about 8 foot in length and 3 feet wide and 3.5 feet high. I laid down on a roller bed that I use to work under machinery and a Batman travel neck pillow. An hour before the next shift starts, I pack everything up and stash it. My boss doesn't come in until weekdays, and I haven't told anyone about this. I will continue to be doing this, weighing my company. Daniel in Plain View says, dude, don't post this online. A win's a win. I envy those just falling into naps so easily for so long. Enjoy your siesta, amigo. Oh, Pizza. I mean, if he doesn't have anything else to do, whatever, but it still seems wrong. OP says, thank you. I wish everyone could sleep as fast as I can. I close my eyes and repeat the word sleep over and over in my head. And that usually puts me out cold in 2 to 3 minutes. Must be nice. I don't like him. In my early days, I used to work at a power plant, both extremely loud environments, but you could put me in the break room and I was out like a drugged horse. I'm sorry, I'm too jealous to read anymore. Interesting AF. This photo was taken in 1922 of a little girl who was suffering from diabetes. She was waiting for the end of her life until a new experiment called insulin was used. And here's this little girl's picture. This is the before and 4 months later. I'm so happy for her. She got there just in time. Cute little cutaway. Those freckles are adorable. Stripper says, I love how much more prominent her freckles are in the second picture, probably suggesting she's been outside more playing versus being sick in bed. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Medical Mosquito says over here, making me tear up. How dare you, stripper? Second top rated comment is from Outside Light. As a type 1 diabetic since early childhood, this is emotional to see. I'm so grateful for the advent of insulin and all the improvements along the way. The worst thing about insulin is that they never bothered to get a patent on it because they did not want it to be expensive. And now look at the prices. It's ridiculous. Arky RN says, in order to keep these children alive, they literally starved them to keep them from going into a diabetic coma and dying. They were given small amounts of protein, no carbs, to try to keep their blood sugar from rising to dangerous levels. Using porcine insulin was a miracle for those children. I say children because at that time, type 1 diabetes didn't live too long after diagnosis, and they certainly didn't survive until adulthood. Dementia Donald says little known fact, type 1 diabetes is almost always diagnosed because of rapid, unexpected weight loss. It wasn't necessarily because they were starved, but the treatment in diabetes in general. We associate diabetes with being overweight and an unhealthy lifestyle, but that's not how childhood diabetes works. Yeah. Next is am I the a-hole? AITA for drinking the beers I brought to a party even though it was more than people were allowed to drink. I'm sorry if I bring something to a party, I'm drinking it, and people better not steal it because that makes me mad. I, 30s male, am in a graduate program where most of my classmates are either fresh out of college or have had 1 to 2 years since graduating. I was invited to a party by one of my classmates, early mid 20s male. He said everyone was going to bring a 6 pack of beer and we would all swap and try each other's. No, I don't have to do that. You can do that if you want, but I don't have to do that. My partner, 30s male, came with me, but he said he didn't want to drink because he wanted to work on something the next morning. My partner and I both chose a 6 pack of beer to bring. Nothing fancy, just 2 types of IPAs. We showed up and hung out and had a good time, I thought. Everyone put their 6 packs on the table and everyone would just walk up and grab one when they needed another drink. I ended up having 8 beers that night. My partner didn't have any. But then my classmate who invited me got mad because I had 8 and we were only allowed 6 each. I said that my partner and I brought 12. It was okay that I drank 8 because my partner didn't drink any. Like as a couple, we bought more than we drank, but my classmate told me that was BS and asked me to pay for the 2 extra beers I drank. Am I crazy or this whole thing unnecessary? Edit lesson learned, don't party with grad students. No, you brought 12. You're allowed up to 12 between the two of you. If you didn't drink any and you drank 8, that's a bonus for everybody else. How should you have to pay for that? That's crazy. Cover character says NTA. First of all, that's a ridiculous level of bean counting for a party set up this way. Second, couples contributions do count together. But never mind any of that. I would just tell this guy, okay, I don't agree with this, but I'll be the bigger person and give money to whomever ended up short. Oh, and by the way, partner brought 6 and drank 0. So when should he expect to get his money back and from whom? Exactly. Tom says, oh, devious little creature, I love this. Yes, the partner should definitely get money back for 4 beers if they wanted to tango this way. 6 beers if we go by the rules. Yeah, exactly. Somebody says 6, and they're like, no, if OP pays for his partner the 2 extra beers he drank, then somebody pays the partner for the remaining 4. Going all the way answers my partner. You are mistaken. If OP has to pay for 2, partner gets paid for 6. Otherwise, it would be net minus 4 beers for the couple compared to the allotment, and the couple would receive based on that. And request itemized receipts to ensure accurate accounting. That's from Frosty, the evil snowman. Frosty's not evil. He's not one of my favorites. Summit Junkie says, pay who? This is very controlling party host. Don't hang out with them anymore. There was a comment removed by moderator. Must have been really bad. Fuster Clux says, so even if they drank more than they bought, as long as there was plenty for everyone and no one was affected, who wanging cares? Captain Buzzkill, the booze auditing superhero. That's what I would kill Joy. Millionaire says, tell him to deduct the payment for the 2 beers from the refund for the 6 beers your partner didn't drink, and then he still owes you. Next we have Overheard, and it is entitled Sydney and Luigi. Last night my girlfriend overheard a guy and a girl in a restaurant. I think it might have been of their first date. Him. Do you know that guy? Her. What guy? Him. The guy who keep looking at her. Sorry, I thought he might be my ex. Him. You're not sure? Her. He was a she during our relationship, so no, I'm not 100% sure. Him. Do you have a picture of him when he was still your girlfriend? Her. Let me check. Moments later. Him. This is what your ex used to look like? Her. Keep your voice down. Him. Damn. She looks more attractive as a woman and a man than both of us combined. Dude went from Sydney Sweeney to Luigi Mangione. Her. I wouldn't go that far. Him. The two of you were in a relationship. I'd say that's pretty far. Her. Can I have my phone back, please? Him. Do you want anything else back, or should I say anyone else? Her. What do you mean? Him. Looking at Luigi over there. I would understand if you still had feelings. Her. Not gonna lie, you're kind of giving me the ick right now. Him. I'm sorry. Her. Don't be sorry. Just stop talking about my ex. Him. Challenge accepted. Changing the subject. So, what's K-pop Demon Hunters about? Well, my girlfriend and I were wanging dying. By the way, she helped me write this because she's was better at remembering who said what. Oh, that's great. Oh, better combined. I was this girl, marry this guy. He's hilarious. She should marry him. He has a great sense of humor. Optional ad said, you know what? Those two sound like a great pair. Guy speaks his mind, girl can set a boundary, and they seem comfortable around each other, officially rooting for them. Be careful says, yeah, I got the vibe. They were both a little chaotic, but not in a toxic way. She set the boundary, and he actually respected her after. That's true. Yeah. She's like, please stop talking about this. He's like, okay, that's how you should do it, guys, girls, both of you. Take it out how to do that. Megatron says, so what's K-pop Demon Hunters about is going to be my new awkward conversation pivot point. Uh, that says, challenge accepted is pretty good too. Yeah, it is. I like him. Interesting focus says the Sydney to Luigi pipeline is the most chaotic character arc I've ever heard described in a bistro. I'm dying at the guy's insecurity being so loud that he had to insult himself in the process. No, that's separate self-deprecating humor. That's fine. He's fine. More attractive than both of us combined is a self-burn that deserves an award. Optimal Ad says, I think he's just teasing slash commenting. They seem pretty upfront with each other. And Cold Blooded Jelly Donut says, I don't get why he chose Sydney. I never got the hype from that one. There are tons of beautiful, famous women. Yeah, that's true. But maybe that's his vibe. Maybe he likes her. Doesn't matter what you like. Next, we have Truth Off My Chest, and it is entitled. Okay, this one's serious, guys. Sorry. It's serious. We're talking about a serious subject that a lot of people aren't going to like, so buckle up. I got an abortion, and now my parents are trying to sue me. What in the heck? I, female 16, a month ago realized I was pregnant. I come from a very religious household, so having sex before marriage and at my age was seen as sinful, and getting an abortion is even worse. I didn't tell anybody since I live in California. I don't need my parents' consent. And you shouldn't. You're 16. You can make that decision for yourself, especially if your parents are going to force birth on you. And no 16-year-old should be having a child. It screws up their entire life. It doesn't ruin it completely, but it screws up all their plans. Everything that they were planning on doing. Because now I got a kid to take care of on top of everything else. It's ridiculous. When I used my credit card that my parents gave me. Before giving me the card, they told me that they put it under my name, so I have to be careful with the way I spend it. After I did the procedure, everything went back to normal. I assumed it was over with this and would just be another lesson that I had to learn. And it should have been. OP, it should have been. I'm sorry, honey, that you're having to go through this. It's ridiculous. I don't know what I was thinking. I think it was the anxiety and stress of the fact that I just wanted to get it over with, but I completely forgot that my parents are able to see the card statement. So when my mom came into the room yelling at me, asking why a charge was made to Planned Parenthood, I didn't know what to say. Should have said you donated something. Both my parents started freaking out, asking me all types of questions. I tried to lie, but my parents weren't dumb and they knew I was lying. They didn't speak to me for weeks. Oh, you poor thing. Oh, these terrible parents. They didn't speak to me for weeks, and I just remember hearing my mom praying for me, praying to God that I wouldn't go to hell for what I did. If y'all can repent on your deathbed, stop freaking out. Last week, when I came back home from school, my mom handed me a paper and told me to read it. The paper claims that my parents are claiming I used their credit card without their permission to pay for medical services at Planned Parenthood. No, you told her to pay. You gave her the credit card. You gave her the credit card and told her don't misuse it. This has no standing in court. This is BS. They didn't authorize the charge and were unaware it occurred until after the fact. Sorry, that card was in her name and she gets to use it the way she sees fit. So stop it. It drives me nuts. They're claiming emotional distress and financial loss and want me to reimburse the funds to them. No. They even paid for a lawyer and everything. They said this is their way of punishing me since they already asked God not to. And they said that if I'm punished by their hands, that God might have mercy on my soul and allow me to go to heaven. I'm telling you, religion is the bane of humanity. If they win this case, I don't have any money to pay them back. Even my grandmother is saying what they're doing is unnecessary and unfair, but they don't care. My dad looks at me like I was the biggest mistake of his life, and my mom is treating me like I just committed a crime. I've been appointed to GAL, but I'm still scared. She's assured me they aren't going to win, but I'm not sure. No, they're not going to win this. And good. I'm glad you have a guardian ad litem. This is ridiculous. This judge is going to look at this and go, "Are you kidding me right now?" Tired old mama says, "Does a card use you used have your name on it? If it does, they authorize you to use their account. They can't press charges. You can't sue a minor. They've basically just been suing themselves." Exactly. "I doubt they found a lawyer to take this case. I think they're bluffing to scare you." OP says, "They lied about it being under my name so that I wouldn't spend as much money on the card. I'm only an authorized user." But you're an authorized user. Card is on your name is on that card. They took it to civil court and they didn't find a lawyer to take the case, but my gal says this will be dismissed because they have no legal basis. Exactly. Uh Hey, nice one guy says, "Does the card have your name on it? Usually authorized users have a card with their own name. And regardless, if you're an authorized user for all intents and purposes, you're allowed to use the card as you please, as was authorized by your parents. Their lawsuit is frivolous. Also, I'm not a lawyer." Bubblegum Dream says, "If you're an authorized user, you have the right to use the card because you're authorized." Exactly. Uh, It's Life on Mars says, "This will be dismissed. It's retaliation. They authorized you as a user. They gave you the impression it was for you to use to just be careful what you spend. They didn't outline you couldn't use it for particular bills. Even if they did, that wouldn't hold up in court." Kindly Pog Mothoan. I don't know some of these names are I think some of them are honestly typos. It's crazy. OP, you're in luck because you're in Central California and you have a GAL. You're absolutely right to get an abortion in California, so it's not an issue. Your parents are trying to retroactively revoke the permission they gave you to use a credit card because they don't like what you used it for. But if they didn't give you any restriction on its use when they gave it to you, other than be careful with it, you can show a history of using it, and then it's going to be very hard for them to claim that you weren't an authorized user, especially if the card's in your name. They were an authorized user. All you got to do is ask the credit card company. Answer all the GAL's questions. Get them everything they ask for, like documents or information, and consider asking about emancipation so you can go live with your grandmother or someone else. Your parents are not going to make your life easier. Oh, and, and did the guy who knocked you up kick in anything for the abortion? I sure hope so. Acceptable Bat says, "Oh, he told no one she was pregnant and she just went and got the abortion, so I'm assuming the guy didn't pay anything. But he should. That's the point." Their top kind of comment is Grouchy Storm. It says, "You can move in with grandma or another family member. I would try living somewhere else and let the judge know that you're living with them now as you're that living with them now is a hostile living environment and not healthy or safe for you to live there anymore." That's a good point. Enrolled in it says, especially after this court case, either it go either way it goes, it sounds like they'll just put up craziness because they shamefully lost or flaunt that they won and continue to punish you like they said they were already doing. That's insanity. Call CPS. Honestly, that's ridiculous. She already has a guardian ad litem. She'll be fine. What horrible parents. I would be going with my 16-year-old to Planned Parenthood, personally. Actually, by 16, they would have been on birth control because once you start going to parties in high school, you need to be on birth control because you don't know what's going to happen. Eric Swallow, anyone? If it happened to an adult, it can happen to a kid even easier. Next is from What Do I Do? And it is entitled Out of the Country. My dog sitter suddenly making various demands. I'm currently out of the country away from my younger dog Ellie for the first time ever. My good friend is watching her the majority of the trip, but a neighbor I've known for a while now from the dog part enthusiastically volunteered to watch her for the initial 4 days while my friend was occupied. I was very appreciative and told her that when I'm back, I'll treat her to this very nice restaurant she's mentioned and also plan to get her a gift for my trip. All in all, it seemed like a positive arrangement. But suddenly, right when I land, she starts texting me a lot, giving me no specifics, but saying weird things like, "I'm ordering supplies to help the situation. I'll be sending you an invoice for my time and supplies at the end." And I'm just like, "What's the situation?" Her replies are all vague, but also weirdly volatile. I'm extremely calm and agreeable, but somehow everything I say, she escalates, saying things like, "You didn't think about how my life would be affected by this arrangement." No, that was for you to figure out, girl. And calling me a bad dog owner and like some selfish person who forced this on her, which was not the case. You volunteered, you were not voluntold. I'm just constantly like, what can I do? Just let me know. We can figure this out. But if I push for actual solution like boarding, she'll insist there isn't a solution and backtrack, saying she'll keep watching Ellie and that I should just enjoy my trip. But then she'll bounce to like I demand at least $400 for my time and services. No, you're not getting that. And if I'm not feeling it, her care will be up to my discretion. Wow. Just like, which is just like WTF. Let me get her to someone else then. I'm continuing to be extremely pleasant because she has my dog. But what am I supposed to do? Even fully de-escalating on my end, she's becoming more unhinged. Right now, I'm trying to find anyone else to get my dog and then watch them, but it's hard with the time change, and I don't have many great options for such a big ask. And meanwhile, I'm trying to placate her all I can, even though it feels like she just wants to guilt trip me into getting a bunch of money that we did not agree on. So so much went into this trip, which is a big deal for me. I'm not even enjoying it due to the stress. The stress of this going on. I can understand. You can't enjoy yourself when somebody's acting a fool like that. Thoughts. Edit. The reason I didn't go with boarding or professional dog sitter, I feel like it was just an ideal situation I was more comfortable with. I was literally Ellie's 6-month birthday while I was gone. I got her custom birthday cupcakes and new toys, and imagining her being with someone she knew, with the dog she regularly played with, still going to her favorite park and eating cupcakes was the exact ideal situation I put effort into finding. I wanted that over a stranger or a strange new place. Going forward, I'm still probably going to try for that, but just with somebody who isn't crazy. Update before I sleep. Ellie's getting rescued from the crazy neighbor. Thank goodness. Poor Ellie. My friend's trip didn't happen, so he was able to go get her right away once it hit the morning, and I was able to get in contact with him. I could write another 3 paragraphs on the petty drama from just trying to get this exchange to go through, but it isn't worth it. Oh, I want to know. I want to know, OP. Come on. Just imagine a dozen more weirdly inflammatory, accusatory texts, and her whining to my friend and him also realizing she's crazy. I know it's dumb, but after Ellie was safe, I did reply to one of her tirades, "You're an unstable person," before ceasing all communication. After going through a full day of not breaking and walking on eggshells, she flipped out, and when I didn't reply, tried to tattle on me to my friend, who couldn't give a crap. What a weird, sad 40-year-old woman. Oh, update 2. A different neighbor reached out because apparently Ellie was given to her for hours on the day the crazy neighbor had her. And I didn't even know, which is just another weird thing. So in the end, she had Ellie for only one day, but not even one day. And yet she's trash talking me, but it seems people are picking up on it being her issue. Good. Glad. Big body Bugatti says, at this point, a paid dog sitter would be better. Find someone else to go get your dog. OP says, uh, yeah, I think I'll be hopefully able to get it worked out. This is all really starting to ramping up to bad levels of midnight US time, and I'm currently in Japan. So I've literally been waiting for morning US time for me to really figure something out. It sucks being so helpless and far away. I can imagine. Casual Finger Gun says, anyone going to get your dog needs to be prepared to get the police involved. It sounds like she is holding your dog hostage, not wanting to board it, and extorting you. She is not just going to pass her payday off, especially ahead of schedule. Maybe tell her it's your friend and they got back early from out of town. I would call the cops and see if they think should come or at least inform them of the issue beforehand. You should also be on the line when the person is there to do the handoff. I wouldn't warn her beforehand. She might refuse to answer the door. Yeah, that's a all good points. Somebody said they wouldn't get involved. Some of them would. Unable abroad is the second top rated comment, and he says, my instinct would be to contact your friend who will be watching for the dog for the rest of the time. I understand they may be occupied, but maybe exception for this particular scenario. OP says he's out of town, but he wasn't out of town. So he probably just neglected to tell her that his uh, trip got canceled. And that's fine. She's not privy to his life. Pizza Slinger says, maybe this is out there, but do you have a vet you usually use? Maybe call them and ask if anyone wants a side gig until your friend takes over. That's also a good suggestion. And the woman didn't even have the dog anyway. Like, what the heck is up with that? Why are people crazy like that? It's weird. Next, we have entitled parents, and it's entitled, my friend casually mentioned something about his dad while we were driving, and it recontextualized everything I thought I knew about him. I, 30 male, have been friends with Marcus for about 6 years. He's one of those people who seems completely unbothered by everything and never complains. Always the first to offer help, never asked for anything in return. I used to think he was just naturally easygoing. 2 Sundays ago, we were driving back from picking up some furniture, and he brought that he bought and had this long, comfortable conversation about nothing in particular. At some point, he mentioned that growing up, his dad used to make him present a written justification anytime he needed something. Why are parents so weird? Ugh. I know people who had to buy their own sheets for their own beds starting when they were like 12 or 14 years old. No, you're a child. That's a parental responsibility. In freaking sane. Not wanted, needed. If Marcus needed new shoes for school, he had to write out why the current ones were no longer functional, what specific model he was requesting, and what model was an appropriate choice. How could you even do that? I guess this kid probably grew up with the internet, though. His dad would then review it and either approve or deny. Marcus was describing this completely casually, like he was telling me about a homework assignment he vaguely remembered. Then he just moved on to something else. I didn't say much because I wasn't sure what to say. I kept thinking about it the rest of the drive. Of course you did, because you're a good human being. It suddenly explained so many things about him. Why he never asked for help, even in situations where asking would be completely reasonable. Why he always over explains himself when he wants something very small. Why he apologizes before making any request at all, even to close friends. His dad apparently still does a version of this to this day. Marcus mentioned that he called him last month asking for advice about work situation, and his dad told him to send an email first so he could review the details. What an idiot. Marcus is 32 years old. I don't even know how to bring it up with him because he clearly doesn't think anything of it. But haven't been able to stop about it thinking about it for the past 2 weeks. I just needed to write it down somewhere. You should tell Marcus that this is not normal behavior. Like, and I'm sure you love your dad, but this is not normal parental behavior. You get that you don't have to apologize for asking for help. You get that you can ask for help. My daughter-in-law can't ask for help. It drives me insane. I love her to death, but Jesus Christ, when you need help, ask. Just ask. It's not that hard. My son has to call us and ask every time. I would be perfectly fine with her asking. Perfectly fine. Everybody needs help. I wish I had more help when I was raising kids. Popcorn to Monica says, "Son, I'd really like to go to the nursing home." Okay, I'll need some time to consider it, Dad. What I need you to do is submit a 3,000 word essay to explain why you deserve to go to the nice one after being such a royal see you next Tuesday all my life in triplicate. Tall Bobcat says, I have children in college who have never met my parents. My sister has teenagers who have never met them. A month ago, they reached out to us about downsizing their home. And now how do they go about letting the condo people know which of us to come to for their condo payments? I block them and move on. My sister informed them that they are on their own, like a lot. They left us for a lot of our childhood. Darkest Gemini says, God, I'm too nosy for my own good. I want details on this so bad. Darkest Gemini, we're twinsies. That's why you're a Gemini. Tall Bob answers, they were useless. They would take vacations and leave us at home and never show up to the important moments, etc. They were terrible parents. Told us when I was 17 and she was 14 that if we didn't like their parenting style, we were welcome to move out. Our grandparents took us in. I grew up to be a high school principal married to a lawyer. I'm a dude. Wife is the brains of the house. Sister is a pediatrician. Her husband and I hated each other for a while, and now he's one of my favorite dudes on the planet. I can relate to that. Hi, Junior. Our DNA donors will occasionally reach out about money and only material things. Sister used to respond, I never have. We were never important to them when they were the ones with financial control. Now that they need help, we are the very last people who will be providing it. Good. Eyes Peeled said, what made your relationship with your brother in law turn around? And Tall Bobcat answers, I saw that he made her confident. After what our parents did to us, she was shy around everyone but me. We had our issues, but the longer she was with him, the more I saw the public Lauren I saw in private. Seeing how good he was for her and how genuinely she loved him helped me work past our initial impressions of each other. That is adorable. I love it. Jilly Cat says, this is so sad. When I was working prison release, we had to request for money if I needed things to buy, and it wasn't even this detailed. We just had to say, I need $50 for this week for $30 bus pass, $5 for laundry, $3 for a stick of deodorant, $2 for body wash, and $10 for cigarettes, and they'd approve it. They didn't even care how much it actually cost within reason. Nobody's managing to pull off $100 for shampoo. Or if you spent less on laundry and spent those quarters in an ice cream instead or whatever. They just wanted an idea of what you would be spending the money on because they were trying to teach budgeting, and this was prisoners. If dad can't treat his kids' needs without a dissertation, better that we were treated as work release inmates. That is beyond insane to me. Agreed. Camp Lumpy is the third top rated comment, and they say, my father did exactly this. When I became a teenager and wanted things like deodorant or my own shampoo, I had to submit a written list of what I wanted and how much it would cost. My father would then question each item and then consider my request. It was a big deal, and I always made him feel ashamed. And it always made me feel ashamed. It wasn't like we didn't have money. He was just total control freak with no sense of propriety. All I had to do was ask my dad for $20. He'd give me $20. Sometimes didn't even have to ask. He'd just throw money at me. $20 in 1983 was how much money? I have to know now. I have to know now. $65. Equivalent of $65 now. So asking for 75 bucks. He was just throwing it at me. He didn't care. I can't believe it was that much money. Oh. Knit pearl knit oops. That's about the right of that. Says, "Justify deodorant. Has this man ever actually smelled a teenager?" The Adverse says, "Yeah, for real. I was just thinking about how bad they smelled in a group I was in near recently. Someone needs to submit a written request for Costco size case of deodorant to hand out freely." That's for sure. Melissa Fent and Skurs. Maleficent and Curse. That's what it is. We've been running into her for forever. I assume it's a her since it's Maleficent, unless it's a male. They say your dad made you also write how things needed for needing deodorant and shampoo. A little petty revenge you could have done to him and make everyone see how crazy he is was to let yourself be stinky by not taking a shower since you didn't have any shampoo. I know it's a moot point now, but that would have been a very justified and petty revenge. Yeah, 100%. Next, we have Oh No Consequences entitled I retroactively cut babysitters pay by $5 an hour. She discovered market rate is $20 an hour. And this is from r/babysitting and is entitled Update on the Parents Who Want to Cut My Pay by $5. Hi, everyone. This is my update for my post from yesterday when I posted about one of my families wanting to cut my pay by $5. First, I want to say thank you to all the kind comments and great advice. I didn't expect my post to blow up the way it did. I'm grateful for all the support I was giving. I'm sorry I couldn't respond to everyone, but still thank you for all who commented. I don't think everybody expects you to thank them personally. Do you expect a personal thanks if you post a comment on Reddit? Let me know in the comments. You may or may not get a thank you. Sorry ahead of time because my post might seem like a long one. Okay, so it's not that long. Um, so after my phone call with the dad, I decided to text the mom and ask her if everything was all right and ask why they needed to cut my pay that much. She texted me back saying it wasn't an easy decision, but ultimately her husband felt it was best to have a sit down with me and talk about my pay and what I'm doing as a babysitter. I told her I wasn't okay with the pay cut and they owed me $25 they didn't pay me for Sunday. Mom ended up Venmoing me the remaining $25 and asked if I could come this morning to talk about my future with the family. Sure. So I ended up going because my mom assured me dad wasn't around. I talked to her and told her I wasn't happy that they did that to me and I'm not going to babysit them for $25 an hour when they have three kids. She told me she understood and was going to talk to her husband about it. Later in the night, I went to babysit for another family in the same neighborhood. They're all friends. And I told that mom everything that had happened. She told me the other mom tried looking for another babysitter and got quoted $60 an hour for the babysitting job, so she was pretty upset. That mom told me to tell them that I've raised my rates due to the rising cost of living. I guess mom from the first family texted the other mom and asked if I was working for them, and the second mom said yes. Before I left, the first mom came over and asked if I was willing to make something work with her until she could work something out between us. Second mom stepped in and said the rate has changed and the babysitting for three kids is $50 an hour. The first mom said she felt that was too much, and I told her $30 an hour for three kids was too low, and eventually caved in, and we compromised at $45 an hour. Well, the dad, the one who wants my pay cut, is gone on a business trip for 9 weeks. So first mom told me she would pay me $45 an hour in cash until he gets back, and then once he's back, all three of us can sit down and figure out a new rate. I agreed only because the dad wasn't going to be around. The first mom said she couldn't miss going to tennis or Wednesday night dinners. So she was thankful I was a reliable babysitter. What's she doing? What's she doing? Is she really playing tennis? Does she really have a Wednesday night dinner? How's a Wednesday night dinner that doesn't include the kids? That's weird. I now have 9 weeks to find another job to fill in for Tuesday and Wednesday night work. I'm pretty happy with the outcome. I'm also happy that the other mom stepped in and took my corner when the first mom came over. Yeah, she deserves a discount, by the way. The mom I sat for tonight told me she would ask around and assured me that it wouldn't be hard to fill in those days. I feel pretty good about the outcome and I hope it works out in the end. I have one more year of college, so I'm just hanging on until I can graduate. Thank you all for reading this. Murder of Crows says, by the way, Murder of Crows is what a group of crows is called, so stop it. With all the talk about fair numbers and kids' ages, I feel like dad wasn't given enough crap for his actions. None of the above matters because $30 an hour was what was agreed upon. You don't get to change after the work was performed. I have a feeling that he did it this way because the negotiation would have given our opportunity to say no and walk away. This way, by simply paying left after the fact, put a burden on the babysitter to A, reach out to question the pay, and B, open up negotiations. He was trying to bully a 20-year-old into just accepting this poor treatment. Exactly. Separate project says it sounds like the family is wealthy too, which is more maddening. Promise Open says the rich are generally the most likely ones to underpay people for their services. They don't get that being rich is being generous. Rich, they didn't get rich by being generous. Fortunately, this would be billionaire tried to underbid a service that can't get easily replaced since less and less people are willing to put up with multiple kids all hours and worse. They generally talk about clients to each other. So he's going to find out that he's going to get no favors, no last minute emergency setters, and likely will be forced to pay up front. Ooh, there's a butterfly outside. Or a moth. Not sure. World Worry says I got paid $10 an hour decades ago for two kids that I didn't need to feed or put to bed. That would be $42 an hour today. That's wild. Their top rated comment is from Sport Picks. And they say, I think the heavens said above that childcare is something I read about on Reddit. I read about on Reddit. The subject's perhaps one of the most imbalanced financial controversies in the world. That is true. Next is mildly infuriating. I recently had surgery, and $40 of my bill is for having a blanket put on me in the recovery room. I was unconscious and did not obviously keep the blanket. The image was deleted, which is fine. Other charge amounts are just as ridiculous, but this one sent me over the edge. Edit. I'm aware this is a bear hugger blanket. Please stop. It's incredibly obvious what the point of this post is. Europeans and Canadians are saying they've never had to pay a dime much for much more intricate and long-term treatments, and how sorry for us. In the meantime, some fellow Americans are screaming, "It's not a no, it's a special blanket. Learn to read the bill. The made-up charges are helping our healthcare workers seriously." Desolate Atrium says is that $73 for a pregnancy test. That's like what, $2? Let's find out what Walmart has for pregnancy tests. I don't have my phone in here. I'd look it up there. Yeah, you can get a pregnancy test at Walmart for less than $5. So $5 would be plenty because it don't cost that much to administrate a pregnancy test. 85.55 for Band-Aid. To be fair, it's super glue. Clearly $85 the box is like $6. Life Feud Jeopardy says if any other industry in America did what the medical/insurance industry does, they would be considered a crime enterprise. So why is it that this is not considered a criminal activity? Anyone who is a sane person would agree that price gouging for medical equipment and life-saving necessities should be a crime. It's not that like people will show up who are asking for a massage and a pedicure. Sometimes old people do ask for a pedicure. Which they are both optional in life, yet worlds cheaper than medical care in the US, and it still costs money to go to school and learn how to do both of those things, yet they only charge $60 for a massage. In America, they price gouge the necessities of life and give us the useless leisure bull crap for cheap or free. At least you can still afford to stream Netflix while you slowly die from your hospital bed. Yeah, no kidding. Second top rated comment. Still being alive, 1, 973.23. Existing, 1, $96,433.75. Nurse let one rip, ventilation, 72, 1, $72.92. Ha ha, wing you, I guess. One, $23.45. Reasonable count says you forgot what you're going to do about it, Bill. Deep Dish says, America is winging insane. I got like 8 surgeries in my life and only had to pay £10 for the ambulance ride 2 times. $70 for $1 pregnancy test. They buy in bulk, so it's probably like 10 cents. Yeah, so probably even cheaper than the $5 Walmart one. And they do have them at the dollar store. Am I overreacting? Entitled AIO for thinking my friend is using Chat GPT to text me in an argument. So what? Are you able to text right now, huh? What? Yeah, what's up? Like actually talk, not just surface level stuff. Yes, okay. Because I've been sitting with this for a couple of days and it's starting to feel impossible to ignore. I don't want. I guess I could share it with you, shouldn't I? Sorry. Okay, good, because I've been sitting with this for a couple of days and it's starting to feel impossible to ignore. I don't want to come at you aggressively or anything, what's going on, but the dynamic between us has shifted noticeably lately and I need clarity. You've been spending way more time with John. I get it, new people are exciting, but the way you prioritize. Oh, it's a girl. Okay, why are we gonna name her? Megan. You've been spending way more time with Megan, and I get it. New people are exciting, but the way you prioritize responding to her and the inside jokes popping up in your stories, the way you're suddenly busy when I try to hang out, but magically free when she's not around. It's not subtle. Before you say anything, I'm just being nice to everyone. Let's skip that part for once because we both know the emotional bandwidth you're giving isn't distributed equally anymore. Not accusing you of cheating or whatever dramatic thing. You don't cheat on your friends, dude. That's not how that happens. I'm not accusing you of cheating or anything or dramatic thing. I'm saying I feel like I've been quietly downgraded from best friend to background character in your life while someone new gets main character energy. Can we talk about this honestly, or is the point where you're going to deflect again and tell me I'm overthinking? I don't kn I don't know. I hear you saying a lot about how I'm acting different, but I really don't see it that way. I'm still the same with you as always been. If it feels off to you, maybe that's more about where you're at right now than anything I'm doing. Not trying to downgrade anyone, just living life, talking to people who are around. Good. We're good though, right? Uh, did I go two? Did I accidentally do two? I did. Okay. Nope. Okay. Classic deflection. Flipped on me, minimalized everything I said, and now you're acting like I'm the one projecting. Because maybe you are. I laid out specific examples and you just blanket denied them. That tells me everything I need to know. This is how you handle honesty by gaslighting and playing dumb, then yeah, we're clearly not on the same page anymore. Not chasing someone who's already checked out emotionally. Take care, I guess. Wait a second. I just realized you've been using words like cheating like we're in a relationship. Combined with all those M dashes, I think you're using Chat GPT to text for you. Okay, fine. I said cheating once, but it was just a bad word choice. I mean, emotionally cheating on our friendship. How do you emotionally cheat on a friendship? Not actually a relationship, so chill. I'm not using Chat GPT. WTF, that's so random. Why would I even need oop. um why would I even need that to talk to my best friend? I just type fast and think about what I'm saying. and that's all you're reaching so hard for. If you want to turn this around on me instead of admitting that you've been switching up whatever I'm in. GTFO, this is going to sound like an invalidation, but you seriously need to get out of your head about all this. Final answer, I have nothing to say and I feel no different towards you. LOL. I'm in my head. Okay, keep telling yourself that. Not even trying to be toxic right now, but you're getting me there. No, you sound toxic. You don't cheat on a friend like that. It's so dumb. I've known her for 2 whole years, and our friendship has never left school, grade 12. You can tell, can't tell me that isn't AI writing those long texts. I immediately knew in my gut I was busy and didn't read fully until a few hours later. Not even saying you have to read the full convo. I just want confirmation it's AI. It doesn't matter. She's insane. uh, Cyrix Carillion says, definitely AI until you called her out on it. The entire tone changed after that. No more capital letters at the beginning of sentences and I is suddenly lowercase. And Spad says, Ace of Spades. Ace of Spades. I hate it when they use letters or numbers for the letters. No apostrophes either. And you are, and RN right now. Question choice. Western Choice says drastic shift in grammar when you call her out proves it's definitely AI. It probably is, and it's so dumb. Yeah, suddenly she couldn't capitalize correctly and was sending multiple stunted and short replies compared to her long paragraphs. I mean, not that it matters that much, but aside from the M dashes and grammar switch up the key words quietly and main character energy, all but 100% confirm it. That's been ChatGPT's go-to phrases recently, it seems. I wouldn't know. I don't use it that much. Tired Singing Mama says, don't forget the part where it mentioned the best friend cheating. LOL, and then totally switched up text style. It's the cheating thing for me. Like, that's just so dumb. You're you're not in, well, you have a relationship with your best friend. You are not in a relationship with your best friend, and there's no such thing as cheating. That's dumb. Just so we're clear on that. Server life entitled Going from 0 tables to 5 in 3 minutes should be illegal. There's no pictures or anything for once. Nothing like being completely dead and then suddenly getting your entire section filled at once. Sorry, the restaurant filled up on you. Maybe this is not the job for you. Busters clear everything, host sees open tables, and boom, you're instantly in the weeds. Now I'm running up greetings, drinks, orders like my life depend of it, with no food runners. I swear this job goes from chill to chaos in seconds. Okay, and if you can't handle that, that's not the job for you. Get a new job. Go work at Walmart or something. Sunila says nothing is worse than when your 6 or 8 top is finally ready to order. Then you turn around and see you just got triple sat. Then the chaos begins. I don't understand. This is the job. This is what the job entails. Next, we have Best of Furniture updates entitled Teacher is Making Exams Super Hard and Offering Extra Credit If You Attend His Bible Study. Oh, hell no. No, 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 no. This was posted March 3rd, 2026. um, oh, oh, I'm so mad right now. Just from reading the title. Ugh. This was originally posted in Ask Teachers. Title, Teacher is Making Exams Super Hard and Offering Extra Credit If You Attend His Bible Study. Please tell me if I'm insane, but that can't be okay in a college setting. That's not appropriate anywhere for any reason. He's putting stuff we haven't studied for the test, offering extra credit, 3 points on a 12-point exam. What class, what country, public or private? Chem, I'm in the US, California specifically. It's a community college. That was pretty necessary. Asked that question. Broomberg answers, this is absolutely illegal. Contact the teacher's chair immediately. OOP, is there any way to stay anonymous? I can't afford to drop this class. If his thing gets shut down, I don't want it taken out on me. Just to rebut. Just to rebut, I've complained to department chair and simply asked my name not be shared. If you're really worried, just make a free throwaway email and send your concerns from there. Or heck, just ask someone in the class who isn't worried to do it. Do you have a class group chat or something? OP. We don't, but meet tomorrow and I can ask a friend who's thinking of dropping already. To another commenter, all I know is the students in the class with me is as it's completely in person. I'm a bit nervous about getting kicked from the class as the refund deadline is passed. You cannot be kicked from the class, hon. That's not going to happen. They will put a different person in there to do the class. You're not going to get kicked out of the class. That's crazy. It's hard to get into classes here because of the wait list. I, I will try to get the guy considering dropping the class to report it. The email. I can't put in the pic, but here's the email. Extra credit amount is Jesus, son of David. Due March 3rd, 6 p.m. activity, Bible study and praises and worship content. I would go. I would go and be so disruptive. Organization chemistry. Date and time 3/3/26, 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Location, which he blocked out. Extra credit, 3 points for exam one, will be given to attendees. I want to make a Christian club at the college, I assume, to discuss our future direction in this meeting. William Knox Ryder says, okay, I'm a devout Christian who enrolled in his Christian college right out of Christian high school. No, this is not okay. It's a chemistry course, not a Bible class. Your professor ought to give extra credit to chemistry things. Not putting non-study material on the test is a red flag for me as well. Yeah. I'm all for the Bible, but this feels wrong because it is wrong. It's extremely wrong. OP, yeah, I'm also confused. Is there any way a Christian group already, because there is a Christian group on campus already. He's trying to start a second one. I don't care if he wants to start a club or be in one at all, but I don't like that he's holding extra credit for my chem class over people. It's very, very odd. And honestly, it makes me very uncomfortable. And he's given a link to the practice exam that's very hard to find on Canvas. And it has questions from chapters we don't start until mid-March. So I've been cramming all night on reading those when all of a sudden I get this aforementioned email. William Knox Ryder says the exam sounds like a trap to force students to need extra credit. Granted, I don't have intimate knowledge of the course. So no, that's exactly what he's doing. I don't have to speculate on that. That's what he's doing. He's trying to force people into his little stupid club. About the club, it may be that the professor wants a new club for his personal denomination or sect of Christianity. I don't know. OOP, that's true. I think the current club is pretty evangelical, which I think he is. So it seems like he's just trying to make one that he would be president of. Yeah, probably. What an idiot. An hour later. Okay, email the chair and we'll update if anything happens. Thank you so much for the advice. I'm still a bit nervous that they will not keep me anonymous, but I've already emailed, so we just hope. Update March 3rd, 2026, 11 hours from the first post. There's not much to update, but I emailed HR and the chair of the chemistry department, as you guys suggested. I'm really not sure anything will come of this, but I hope it does. Thanks to everyone who helped. I will update again if anything comes of this. Email transcription. Thank you for reaching out and sharing your concern. We appreciate you bringing it to our attention. I am forwarding this to our senior HR generalist, redacted, who will be able to review this. I'm also letting her know you requested to remain anonymous, and she will follow up as appropriate. Thank you again. Kind regards. OOP. And the email I just got from the chem chair. I hope the start of the semester is going well. I want to follow up regarding the recent announcement sent by Professor George. I'm very sorry that you were put in a position to make you feel uncomfortable. The announcement is not sponsored by the chemistry department, and participation in any religious activity is not required and will not affect your grade in any way. I've addressed the matter and I'm following up directly with Professor George. I also want to assure you that I kept your name and on your name confidential while looking into this. Please don't hesitate to reach out if anything else comes up or you have additional concerns. This guy should be fired for doing this. Some of OOP comments. I don't want to get him fired or anything. It's just, no, I want to get him fired. Let me get him fired. Can I get him fired? Because he needs to be fired. I don't want to get him fired or anything. I just feel bad that Christians slash people willing to attend a Bible study so he can start his own club, getting a better ability to pass felt unfair. The test. It's okay, a test that involves chapter 6 when the class was only taught up to chapter 4 and the page for 6 is 3 points and extra credit is 30 points. How convenient. Oh, he adds, none of this was on the syllabus. Neither was the fact that he would AI generate half his lessons. Mini update in comments March 6th, 3 days later. This is the first level of chem at the specific college. Learning about what was on the last test will happen in class, but it's happening later. And the board already gave everyone a 10-10 on the test because it was stuff we wouldn't know yet, and he's on some sort of probation, just as an update. Good. Good. Glad. Lost Competition says that dude is 100% not having his contract renewed. Sheldon Wood said Mr. Doctor forgot he didn't have tenure. Whoops. Somebody asked if they do tenure, and they do. Worldly Might says, it's the second top rated comment. They say, of course, the test was on material they couldn't possibly know. How else would the professor guarantee everyone got a chance to be recruited into his daydream? Daydream? More like his night emissions. Fit Combination says, literally the academic equivalent of a timeshare presentation. Create a completely artificial problem, trap them in a stressful situation, and then offer your personal salvation disguised as extra credit. Daoko says, the fact that his lessons were AI generated for him was all the assurance you needed that he isn't fit to teach. Hell, you can get a lesson presentation online from other lectures and just add notes or modify, but it takes a special kind of laziness to let AI do it for you. Plus, AI is not reliable. AI lies and hallucinates all the time. All the time. Kylo Ren Cadet Stimpy says, using the standard ratio for the chemical reaction, please calculate the quantity of wine that results from 200 liters of water. Oh, Tempest says, reminds me of the age-old math question. How many communion wafers equals one Jesus? Midnight Pickler says, it works out a lot higher than you might expect. Those wafers are really light, often like a quarter of a gram. That's 4,000 per kilogram of Jesus. Estimate his weight, let's say 65 kilograms. Knock off 5 kilograms for the blood, which you have to make up with wine. So 60 kilograms of water times 4,000 leaves you at 240,000, nearly a quarter of a million. Aerobatic County answers. 1,000 communion wafers on Amazon are $19, $18.99. With Prime, didn't search for a better deal. So that would be $4,557.60, less than $5K for Jesus. Jesus is worth less than $5,000. Please help. My friend says you're forgetting the cost of wine, though. Given that when Jesus turned water into wine, it was really good wine. We're not looking at the cheap stuff. If we have 5 kilograms of wine, according to the previous estimate, which seriously lowballs the amount of fluid weight in the body, that would be lost from the blood. We're looking at about 5 liters of wine. Specific gravity of wine is 0.998, so I've rounded it to 1, meaning 1 kilogram per liter. If we assume about $100 a bottle of wine and a fairly nice wine, and a bottle is 750 milliliters, we have 5,000 milliliters times one bottle, 750 milliliters times $100 a bottle equals 667 rounded. But since wine only comes in single bottles, we're actually looking at bottles of wine instead of 6 2/3, which leaves us at $7,000 for the wine. That's pretty cheap. It's pretty cheap for Jesus blood. Now, if we go off slightly higher estimate for body male type, we would have 6.5 liters of blood, which works out to 6.82 kilograms because blood specific gravity is a little higher, 1.05. Converting that to mass into wine gives us 600.82 liters. Converting into bottles gives us 9.1 bottles, which rounded to the whole gives us 10 bottles for a total of 1,000 Jesus, $1,000 for the blood, less than $6,000 for Jesus. And this is why you come to Reddit, people. We're gonna leave that one there because that's hysterical. Um, this is from Made Me Smile in China. 7 dogs stolen from their owners have gone viral after escaping from an illegal transport truck and making their way home. They traveled 10.5 miles, 17 kilograms together, led by a corgi, across highways and fields, and now safe back with their respective owners. And here is they. Share. Oh no, it's just doggies. I call that cute little corgi's the leader of the pack. Even though he's not an alpha male, he just happens to be very good at his job. They're so cute. All right, that's all I got for the day. Um, have a good evening. Oh, what's the temperature? What do you think the temperature is today? 76. I might take a little walk. A little walk. I'm gonna build slowly. Here, just a little walk. I did walk yesterday with the boys. We walked our trails. We have trails. One part of our yard was designated as a non-build area. We got taken off, but um, so now we can build on there if we want to. But half of our property is not built. is wild, wild area. Um, Deer hang out in there, so I don't like them going off the trail because of the ticks. My grandson already had a really bad tick, so we're hoping that he's not sick. We are keeping an eye on it, but so many ticks, so little time. Telling you, it's bad. We know the signs though, and we keep an eye on it for a month. And supposedly, if you go a month without any signs of infection, you're good. So that's what we're doing with him. Oh, I forgot. So I pulled the biggest hair out of his ear the other day. A 4-year-old, yeah, the biggest hair. It was dog hair. It's like I couldn't stand it though. I couldn't let it go. I could not let it go. You have a big old hair in your ear. I'm taking it out. Sorry, kiddo. Mom says he has the worst ears. They're always messed up. I'm like, yeah, I know, because I'm always trying to clean up. He's cute though. Very cute. All right. I hope you have a good evening. I have got to go and figure out dinner. A large, a very fibrous dinner is what has been requested. So I will see you all later. You all have a good night, and I will be back tomorrow. Maybe I might be late. I might be late tomorrow. I might go shopping. Yeah, tomorrow is Wednesday, right? Yeah, I might go shopping. I have to go to Costco. We're out of essential, almost out of an essential item that you have to have in your house at all times. So I might go up to Costco for once. I know I hardly ever go there. It's like every 2 or 3 months. So don't be surprised if I'm late, but I will be here tomorrow unless something drastic happens. All right. Bye, my biddies. Love you. Bye. 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 Bye.